Chapter 2661. This Saint Lord will accompany you. The sky and earth collapsed as Lin Moyu and Zhao Dongxing fought madly. Lin Moyu broke all methods with one punch. No matter what technique Zhao Dongxing used, Lin Moyu would break it with a punch. Zhao Dongxing manipulated the Wanling Avenue in a strange and changeable way. In addition to transforming into a giant python to fight Lin Moyu, he also used various magic attacks. However, every attack was broken by Lin Moyu. Punch after punch, every moment saw thousands of punches. Lin Moyu didn't know how many punches he had thrown. Holes were smashed into the body of the giant python, and Lin Moyu became more and more courageous. But Zhao Dongxing grew increasingly anxious. He was trying his best to sublimate, and his vitality was rapidly depleting, making it difficult to last. Lin Moyu laughed out loud.
You can't hold on much longer. If you have any last words, say them quickly. I won't leave you with a whole body.
Zhao Dongxing shouted angrily.
You brat, you're the one who will die today.
Lin Moyu sneered.
If you have any tricks, use them now. Otherwise, you won't have a chance.
He could see that Zhao Dongxing couldn't hold on much longer. In another 3 or 5 minutes, even if Lin Moyu didn't kill him, he would die from the end of his lifespan. The effect of the Dao Immortal Pill was just a little longer than Zhao Dongxing's lifespan. It had consumed part of Zhao Dongxing's vitality earlier, so it had some effect. Huang Xing and Pajun didn't die in vain. Zhao Dongxing roared.
Then let me show you my tricks.
A strange Dao pattern appeared on his forehead, flying out and exploding, distorting the space. A man walked out of the distorted space. He was as old as Zhao Dongxing and had obviously lived for countless years. He stepped forward, his movements stiff at first but quickly becoming smooth, like a baby adapting to his body. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed. He could tell this was an ancient strongman who had sealed himself like Zhao Dongxing. He had just broken the seal and returned to the world after countless years. Zhao Dongxing shouted.
You come and hold on for a while. My vitality is too depleted, and I can't hold on any longer. But this guy can't last much longer either. If you hold on for a few minutes, he will die. He has 2 original magics and infinite time luck. We will share the spoils.
The new old man looked at Lin Moyu and knew Zhao Dongxing was telling the truth. He said in a low voice,
Okay.
He took a step forward, sublimated to the extreme, and his strength instantly recovered to the peak, the 6th realm of Dao Zun. A huge sword fell on the avenue. The true form of his avenue was a giant sword. This former strongman practiced the avenue of the sword. The old man and the giant sword merged into one. He was the sword and the sword was him. His eyes became extremely sharp, enough to kill some low-level Dao Zun with just a glance. With a wave of his finger, the terrifying sword light swept the world, separating Zhao Dongxing and Lin Moyu. He shouted in a low voice,
Boy, your opponent is now me.
While Zhao Dongxing was speaking, he had already begun to retreat, and his breath dropped rapidly. In the state of full sublimation, his vitality was lost too quickly, and he really couldn't bear it. The purpose of his coming here was to live a few more years, not to die early. Lin Moyu said coldly,
You said change? I didn't agree. Madam, I leave this guy to you.
The rule world opened, and a terrifying cold air shot out. In the cold air, an exquisite white jade sword flew and stabbed at the swordsman with competitive skills. The old swordsman's face changed drastically.
Cold water jade sword.
The cold water jade sword broke through the space restriction and appeared directly in front of him. His face changed drastically, and the sun finger pointed out. Bang! The old swordsman trembled all over as if electrocuted, and his whole body was shaken away, a layer of ice appearing on him. Gu Hanyu, who had been preparing for a long time, stepped out of the rule world with graceful steps.
Leave the great sword Daozun to me. You focus on dealing with Zhao Dongxing.
Lin Moyu smiled.
So his name is the great sword Daozun. Then I'll trouble you, madam. I'll deal with Zhao Dongxing and come to help you.
Gu Hanyu shook her head.
No need, I can kill him alone.
Lin Moyu smiled and turned to Zhao Dongsheng again. Zhao Dongxing's face changed drastically, and the breath that had just been restrained rose again, continuing to sublimate to the extreme. He gritted his teeth and shouted,
I didn't expect you to be from Han's Holy Land.
Lin Moyu punched out.
You're wrong. I am not from Han's Holy Land.
Zhao Dongsheng fought with Lin Moyu again, gritting his teeth and roaring.
You're lying. The Han's Jade Sword is a secret item of Han's Holy Land, and only the Lord of the Holy Land can manipulate it. The Lord of the Holy Land cannot marry outside but can only marry into the family. You are naturally from Han's Holy Land.
Lin Moyu said.
Are you confused? But I won't tell you.
Lin Moyu's fists became fiercer, and the sky and earth were filled with fist shadows, giving Zhao Dongsheng no chance at all. On the other side, the great sword Daozuan was extremely embarrassed under the attack of the ancient cold jade. The cold air filled the sky, and the great sword Daozuan's actions were restricted everywhere. The great sword Daozuan was suppressed by Gu Hanyu.
Stop, do you want to start a war between us?
Gu Hanyu said.
If the Dao sect wants to go to war with me, this Saint Lord will accompany you. But before that, this Saint Lord will cut you down first. Now is not the era when you dominated the world. Since you are here, you should die completely.
The great sword Daozuan roared repeatedly, but it was useless. He couldn't do anything to Gu Hanyu. On Lin Moyu's side, Zhao Dongsheng was completely desperate. His vitality was fading faster and faster. His breath was already unstable, and he could no longer maintain the state of Daozuan. Feeling his vitality fading, Zhao Dongsheng seemed to see death.
No, I have to escape. I must escape. If I don't escape, I will definitely die here.
Zhao Dongsheng kept looking around, trying to find a way to escape. Suddenly, a pain came from his leg. Looking down, he saw the three-colored phantom snake flash in his eyes and disappear again.
Three-colored phantom snake.
Zhao Dongsheng screamed. Even in his peak period, being bitten by the three-colored phantom snake would be very troublesome, let alone now. The three-colored phantom snake, a special spiritual beast, was what he wanted most. He had once tried to capture the three-colored phantom snake but never succeeded. The three-colored phantom snake's venom quickly took effect, and Zhao Dongxing's breath fell faster and faster. Hearing the words,
Three-colored phantom snake,
the great sword Daozuan cried out. A sword light burst out, and the ice between heaven and earth broke layer by layer. Gu Hanyu snorted and quickly retreated. Lin Moyu saw the great sword Daozuan turn into a sword light and flee, but the great sword Daozuan who escaped was only at the 4th level of Daozuan. He had blasted the blockade set up by Gu Hanyu at the cost of a lot of vitality. Lin Moyu immediately asked,
Are you okay?
Gu Hanyu shook her head.
I'm fine. It's a pity he escaped.
Lin Moyu snorted coldly.
He can't escape. Zhao Dongxing is left to you. I'll deal with him.
Gu Hanyu nodded.
Okay.
The two exchanged opponents. Lin Moyu withdrew the Immortal Avenue True Body and replaced it with the Space Avenue True Body. In an instant, his body became distorted and transparent. He seemed to have merged into the space, as if he didn't exist in this world, and as if he was everywhere. Lin Moyu pointed his finger. The space distorted, and the great sword Daozuan who had already flown far away suddenly flew back and quickly enlarged in his sight. 2662, 2662, Chapter 2662. After getting the sky-swallowing rat, be careful. It was impossible for the great sword Taoist master to come back on his own, but he had to come back. Lin Moyu twisted the space, manipulating the space in front of the great sword Taoist master. Although he was fleeing forward, in reality he was flying closer and closer. Gu Hanyu saw it and murmured,
It's actually the great Tao of space.
At this moment, Lin Moyu became mysterious and complex in her eyes. On the Origin continent, there are very few people who can comprehend the great Tao of space, and even fewer who can apply it to this extent. Although there were other thoughts in her mind, the Hanshui jade sword was not soft. Two cold lights flashed, and Zhao Dongsheng screamed. His limbs had been cut off. The wounds were frozen, and not a drop of blood flowed out. The space around him was also blocked by ice. There was no escape. Zhao Dongxing's breath had recovered to the realm of Dao Zun, and the extreme sublimation had completely ended. There was little vitality left. Now he was full of despair and could only wait for death to come. The great sword Dao Zun thought he had escaped at the cost of his vitality. But a massive fist came forward and completely shattered his beautiful dream. The great sword Dao Zun was blasted to the ground. His bones broken all over his body, unable to move. He saw Lin Moyu and Gu Hanyu, who also saw Zhao Dongsheng, whose limbs were broken and turned into a melon.
How could it be? I clearly escaped.
His question was destined to remain unanswered. Lin Moyu put away his true body.
Thank you, madam. If it weren't for your help, Bing Tian would be in danger.
Gu Hanyu rolled her eyes at him.
Really?
Lin Moyu laughed.
Of course. 1-on-1 is okay, but 1-on-2 is not. After all, your husband is only a low-level Tianzuan, far from Daozuan.
Gu Hanyu snorted lightly, obviously not believing Lin Moyu's words. Based on her understanding of Lin Moyu, he must have many backup plans. These backups, one after another, would definitely kill Zhao Dongsheng and the great sword Daozuan. Gu Hanyu asked,
How are you going to deal with them?
Lin Moyu said,
Of course, I will kill them, but I want to keep some of their flesh and blood. I wonder if Madam has any way.
After the death of a Taoist master above the fourth realm, his flesh and blood soul will return to the great Tao, and normally nothing will be left. Lin Moyu didn't actually have too many expectations, just asking a few more questions. Gu Hanyu said,
If you want a complete body, then I can't do it. If it's just some flesh and blood, it can still be done.
She pointed her finger, and the Hanshui jade sword flew out. With a few swishes, the limbs of the great sword Taoist master were also cut off. Then she created suction in her palm, sucking in all the broken hands and feet of the two. An ice-blue flame rose, and the two limbs were quickly refined, finally forming 2 drops of blood essence. 1 drop belonged to Zhao Dongsheng, and 1 drop belonged to the great sword Taoist master. Gu Hanyu asked,
Is this okay?
Lin Moyu nodded hurriedly.
Yes, thank you, madam.
He took the 2 drops of blood essence away and carefully treasured them. Gu Hanyu frowned slightly.
What do you want this for?
Lin Moyu said,
I have a magic that requires flesh and blood as a medium. The stronger the flesh and blood, the greater the power.
Gu Hanyu thought of her own experience, as if she had also been attacked by Lin Moyu with that inexplicable magic at that time, and she said no more. At this time, Lin Moyu's breath began to drop sharply, and the time for the Great Tao Immortal Pill was up. Once the power of the Great Tao Immortal Pill disappeared, the power beyond the limit caused Lin Moyu to collapse instantly. The soul and the body collapsed together and turned to ashes on the spot. Watching Lin Moyu turn to ashes in front of her, Gu Hanyu's eyes showed panic, and she was suddenly heartbroken. A sharp pain from the depths of her soul broke out, and her delicate body could not stop shaking.
How could it be? How could he be dead?
Gu Hanyu had completely lost the sense of Lin Moyu. Only death would make it so. Zhao Dongsheng and the great sword Daozuan on the ground were also stunned for a moment, and then Zhao Dongsheng laughed wildly.
So that's it. The price of this source of magic is death.
The great sword Daozuan also laughed out loud.
I didn't expect that the son of Tayin would die like this. It's really ridiculous.
Gu Hanyu's face turned cold.
What are you laughing at?
She was full of murderous intent and was about to kill the two immediately. Suddenly, a purple light flashed in her eyes, and a warm and familiar voice came out.
What's so funny?
Lin Moyu completed his rebirth and appeared in the same place intact. Gu Hanyu's voice trembled.
You're not dead?
Lin Moyu said.
How could I die for no reason?
Gu Hanyu snorted lightly.
It's good that you're not dead. I'll leave this to you.
She turned around and ignored it, giving Lin Moyu an infinitely beautiful back view. Her slightly trembling body seemed to be telling something. Lin Moyu, an old hand, naturally understood and would not expose it. He looked at Zhao Dongsheng and the great sword Daozuan.
You two seniors have lived for so many years. How can you still be so naive? I am someone who cherishes my life. How could I joke about my own life? Is it because you sealed yourselves up and damaged your brains?
Facing Lin Moyu's ridicule, Zhao Dongsheng and the great sword Daozuan were trembling with anger and had nothing to say. Now they were fish on the chopping block, and Lin Moyu was the knife. Lin Moyu opened the world of rules.
Xiao San, come out.
Xiao San responded and landed on Lin Moyu's shoulder. Lin Moyu pointed at Zhao Dongsheng.
He's in your hands.
Xiao San screamed when he saw Zhao Dongsheng, and his small body instantly grew larger, returning to the form of the sky-swallowing rat. Zhao Dongsheng's body trembled violently, revealing a look of horror.
Sky-swallowing rat.
The scene of how he had treated the sky-swallowing rat flashed quickly, and he knew that he and the sky-swallowing rat were mortal enemies. Xiao San looked at his blood enemy, murderous aura boiling, and bit down in one bite. Screaming, Xiao San bit off a piece of flesh and blood, chewing it in his mouth, making a sound of sour teeth. Xiao San would return the way Zhao Dongsheng treated the sky-swallowing rat. It would bite Zhao Dongsheng to death bit by bit and eat all his flesh and blood. Lin Moyu let it go. This hatred from the blood, let it vent properly. As for the three-colored phantom snake poison in Zhao Dongsheng's body, it didn't matter. Anyway, there were spiritual flowers. Even if Xiao San was poisoned, he could be cured. With a wave of his hand, Lin Moyu blocked the sound, and the area became silent. He looked at the great sword Daozuan.
Senior, do you have any last words?
The great sword Daozuan snorted.
Kill if you want to kill.
Lin Moyu nodded.
Okay, then I'll send you off. Senior, please have a good trip.
The shadow mantis appeared beside the great sword Daozuan. For cold lights flashed, and the great sword Daozuan died. Although his vitality had fallen, his blood and qi had declined, and he looked only at the first level of Daozuan. But his real strength was the 6th level of Daozuan. After his death, his body and soul turned into countless smoke and disappeared, returning to the heavenly Dao. Gu Hanyu turned to Lin Moyu.
I didn't expect that you also got a sky-swallowing rat.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Just good luck.
Gu Hanyu said,
It seems that fate is also pushing you, but you got the sky-swallowing rat, so you have to be careful.
Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment.
Is there anything special?
2663, 2663, Chapter 2663. No one can object, including yourself. Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu with a smile, her eyes gentle but filled with amusement. That look made Lin Moyu feel like a fool. He realized this should be common knowledge, but he didn't know it. Lin Moyu said,
Don't keep me in suspense, just tell me.
Gu Hanyu explained,
The sky-swallowing rat clan was cursed in ancient times. Their luck is very low. Although they can grow up and become spirit beasts of the Daozuan realm, they will always be unlucky and die at some point. I don't know the circumstances under which you got it, but if I guess correctly, Tian Yubaju got it when it was very unlucky.
Lin Moyu thought about it and realized it was true. Being stuck in the balanced gem for 100,000 years without being able to move was indeed unlucky. The sky-swallowing rat caught by Zhao Dongsheng was also tortured in various ways, which was also unlucky. Of course, it could also be considered an accident. But since Gu Hanyu said so, it was definitely not as simple as an accident. Gu Hanyu continued,
Not only is the sky-swallowing rat unlucky, but all their owners will also be unlucky. Many people in history have obtained the sky-swallowing rat, but few have had a good end. But your luck should be very strong. Maybe you can suppress the curse.
Gu Hanyu's smile became more dangerous. She knew Lin Moyu's luck was strong. Not only because he was the son of Taiyin, but also because of her influence. Most of her words were just to scare Lin Moyu. After listening, Lin Moyu seemed to take it seriously.
No wonder I met Xiao Dongxing. It seems this little guy also has a share. I wonder why that senior cursed the sky-swallowing rat clan.
Gu Hanyu said.
Legend has it that the sky-swallowing rat stole his origin spiritual vein, and he happened to practice the cursed avenue, so the rat clan was unlucky. Is there any way to remove it?
Lin Moyu asked. Gu Hanyu replied.
It's difficult. Now the sky-swallowing rat has reproduced for generations, and the curse has long been deeply rooted in their blood, turning from acquired to innate. It's naturally impossible to remove it. Unless we can find the person who cursed them, there may be some hope.
Lin Moyu asked curiously.
Is that senior still alive?
Gu Hanyu smiled.
Maybe he is still alive. After all, that kind of realm is not something we can speculate about. You can also ask the sky-swallowing rat. Maybe there will be an answer in its blood.
Lin Moyu turned his head and looked. Xiao San was torturing Zhao Dongxing. The scene was a bit gruesome. Gu Hanyu stood under the origin of the sun, looking in the direction of Yujin City, and stretched her waist.
This sunshine is quite beautiful.
Looking at Gu Hanyu's infinitely beautiful back, Lin Moyu smiled and said,
No matter how beautiful she is, she can't be more beautiful than you.
Gu Hanyu chuckled, and when she turned around, her smile had already faded.
What are you going to do next?
Lin Moyu said,
I plan to go to Dongzhou. You were right last time. There is no place in Nanzhou that can accommodate new forces. Dongzhou is the most suitable place for me.
Gu Hanyu said,
Dongzhou is full of disputes and very dangerous.
Lin Moyu replied,
Chaos is the soil in which I grow. Since I have lived in a dangerous world, danger is a habit for me.
Gu Hanyu knew she couldn't stop Lin Moyu. After 2 brief contacts, she had roughly understood Lin Moyu's character. Once he made a decision, he wouldn't change it. Gu Hanyu murmured Lin Moyu's words softly.
Danger is a habit.
Such words showed how bad the place where Lin Moyu used to live was. Gu Hanyu did not ask about Lin Moyu's past. She preferred to look forward to the distant road ahead.
If you can gain a foothold in Dongzhou, what are your plans?
Lin Moyu chuckled.
I don't have any specific plans. Let's take it one step at a time. If I have a goal, I do have one.
Gu Hanyu said.
Tell me about it.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Practice to the limit and find my 6 wives.
Gu Hanyu's body trembled violently, and her face was full of disbelief.
Are you married?
Lin Moyu said,
I didn't have the chance to tell you before. I am indeed married, and I have 6 wives.
Gu Hanyu's face darkened, and her eyes were full of anger. Lin Moyu seemed not to notice her expression and continued.
4 of them were married before I reached the transcendent realm. The other 2 were married when I was in the supreme realm. I forgot to tell you that I came from the world of the Sea of Boundaries. Oh, by the way, I have a sister, a real sister, who came to the origin continent 1 step earlier than me, and I don't know where she is now.
Gu Hanyu sneered.
You are honest.
Lin Moyu said,
I will never hide anything from people I trust. We are husband and wife. Whether it is because of the intertwined branches or other reasons, I have already regarded you as my wife. When I am strong enough in the future, I will come to you. I know that the Holy Lord of your Hansui Holy Land cannot marry outside, but it doesn't matter. Everything on the origin continent is based on strength. As long as I am strong enough, the rules can be changed.
Gu Hanyu said,
Do you know how strong our Holy Land is?
Lin Moyu said,
It doesn't matter. The strong people I have seen are far beyond your imagination. Have you heard of an old man in a green robe riding a green cow?
Gu Hanyu shook her head, indicating that she had not heard of it. Lin Moyu took out the essence of Zushui.
Can you talk about this?
Gu Hanyu looked at the essence of Zushui and shook her head after a moment, indicating that she had never seen it. Lin Moyu said,
Although you don't know it, you should have heard of it. It's called the essence of ancestral water.
Gu Hanyu exclaimed.
The essence of ancestral water used in legends. Of course, I have heard of the essence of ancestral water. The ancestor who created the Han's Holy Land, Gu Tongtian, once obtained a drop of the essence of ancestral water. But these younger generations have no idea what the essence of ancestral water looks like.
Lin Moyu said.
So, what I have seen is far beyond your imagination. You don't have to tell me how powerful the foundation of the Han's Holy Land is. One day, I will come to marry you. No one can object, including yourself.
These words were a bit overbearing, but Gu Hanyu felt a little warm in her ears. She was indeed a little angry when she heard that Lin Moyu had 6 wives. But she is the master of the Hanshui Holy Land. She has seen too many things and calmed down quickly. What has been done is done, and she can't reverse time. Strictly speaking, she is the latecomer, and it was she who used the Lianlizi that caused the current situation. Thinking this way, she didn't seem to have the right to be angry. She took a deep breath.
Okay, I'll wait for you to marry me. So how long do you want me to wait? Is 100,000 years enough?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I don't know exactly how long it will take, but 100,000 years shouldn't be necessary.
It took more than 2,000 years to cultivate to the low-level Tianzuan. Lin Moyu is confident in his cultivation speed. 100,000 years, it really doesn't take that long. Gu Hanyu said.
I hope you can do it.
2664 2664. Hashtag chapter 2664. Why do I feel like I've seen this before? Jade Sword City still shone brightly, like a pearl on the earth, extremely dazzling. In this world controlled by the Hanshui Holy Land, there are only a handful of places that can compare with Jade Sword City. Lin Moyu and Gu Hanyu walked side by side, like a pair of golden boys and jade girls, heading towards Jade Sword City. Zhao Dongsheng was tortured by Xiao San until his vitality was completely lost, and he died. If not for this, Xiao San could have tortured him for a long time. After killing Zhao Dongsheng, Xiao San avenged his blood feud and swore to be loyal to Lin Moyu forever. No matter what Lin Moyu asked it to do, it would do it. Lin Moyu just laughed it off. He threw Xiao San back into the world of rules to continue playing with Xiao Wu and Xiao Yu. On the way back, Lin Moyu told Gu Hanyu some of his past, letting her know how his 6 wives were taken away. Gu Hanyu whispered.
So, the old man in the green robe is easy to talk to, but his Taoist partner is a bit fierce.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Indeed, but I can feel that the senior has no ill intentions.
Gu Hanyu nodded.
I believe you can find them in the future.
Lin Moyu smiled.
I also believe I can, but by then, you will have 6 more sisters.
Gu Hanyu snorted coldly.
That's my business. You don't need to care.
As they spoke, the two walked into the gate of Yujin City. The two of them, like a golden boy and a jade girl, attracted countless people's attention along the way. There are many beauties on the Origin continent, and female practitioners are generally very beautiful, but few have the temperament of Gu Hanyu. Before returning to the courtyard, Gu Hanyu said,
Then I'll leave first.
Lin Moyu suddenly reached out and hugged Gu Hanyu, whispering in her ear,
Wait for me to marry you in the Holy Land.
Gu Hanyu's delicate body trembled slightly.
Got it.
After hugging for a while, the two finally separated, and Gu Hanyu turned and left. Until she disappeared, Lin Moyu's ears rang with her words.
Be careful. Come back if you can't. I'll support you.
Lin Moyu chuckled. When would he fall to the point where he needed a woman to support him? No matter how bad things got, he wouldn't be like this. In the next few days, Lin Moyu's life became ordinary. He no longer went out and drank tea in the yard every day, often looking up at the sky, as if he was appreciating the origin of the sun. 3 days later, a deep voice resounded throughout the Jade Sword domain.
Yujian City Elder Mu Quan colluded with the Dao sect and has been killed. Wenling Daozuan of the Dao sect and Jijian Daozuan sneaked into the Hanshui Holy Land and wanted to harm it. They have been killed. By the order of the Holy Lord of the Hanshui Holy Land, I hereby announce to the world that if the Tao sect wants to start a war, my Han's Holy Land will fight to the end.
After hearing this voice, Lin Moyu slowly stood up and walked towards the direction of the Jade Sword. Gu Hanyu's methods are indeed fierce, and the rules of the Hanshui Holy Land are indeed strict. An elder of the Daozuan realm was killed without mercy. Facing the Dao sect, the attitude is even more aggressive. The message was clear. The people who came over have been killed. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to fight, shut up and get out. This news will spread throughout Nanzhou soon. If the Dao sect wants to fight, the Hanshui Holy Land has already stood on the moral high ground. You were the first to come here and cause trouble. You still want to start a war? That's weak. It seems to be just a moral issue, but in fact, it is a matter of luck, and the relationship is very mysterious. If the Dao sect does not start a war, it means that the Hanshui Holy Land has slapped the Dao sect in the face. No matter what it does, the Hanshui Holy Land has the advantage. Especially since the Hanshui Holy Land set an example and killed all its elders, it depends on what the Dao sect will do. When he came to the entrance of the formation again, Lin Moyu saw that the people guarding the formation had been replaced, not just one or two, but all of them. It seems those subordinates who originally belonged to Mu Quan are not doing well.
I don't know how much benefit Mu Quan received from Zhao Dongxing, but in the end, he didn't get much benefit. He died and implicated others.
Lin Moyu was disdainful in his heart. He hated those who were traitors. Lin Moyu stood in line, handed over the origin crystal, and then followed the crowd into the formation. The formation is two worlds inside and outside. The moment he entered the formation, a series of strong winds came towards him. The earth showed a jade quality, which looked crystal clear. Lin Moyu knew that it was the result of the sword energy rubbing against the ground for countless years. There was a tiny sword energy in the strong wind. Although it was not overwhelming for Tianzuan, if a cultivator below the other shore realm came in, he would be torn to pieces on the spot. Looking at the jade sword in the distance, Lin Moyu walked forward step by step towards the jade sword. The crowd that was originally lined up was divided at this moment. Some walked fast, some walked slowly. The strong wind blinded them, and some lost their direction while walking. The closer they got to the jade sword, the fewer people there were. Lin Moyu walked 20 kilometers in a blink of an eye, completing 1/5 of the journey. The strong wind became more and more violent, and the sword energy in the wind also increased, making it more and more difficult to move forward. The sword energy and the strong wind mixed together, and it was impossible to tell which was which, and there was no way to dodge. There was an invisible force in the jade sword, and everyone who entered the range of 100 kilometers would be attacked. Lin Moyu felt the sword energy in the strong wind and seemed to understand something.
In fact, the sword energy is not strong. The real trouble is the impact on the heart of Tao. There is an invisible force in the sword energy, which constantly wears away the heart of Tao.
This power is very magical. Lin Moyu had never seen it and couldn't understand it. It's like there is a voice that keeps persuading him in the depths of his soul. Go back, don't get closer. It will be dangerous if you get closer. Go back, there is no benefit in getting closer. Go back, turn back, and you will be in the abyss if you go on. Various voices echoed in the depths of his soul, some persuading, some warning, and some threatening. The most troublesome thing is that even if you don't think about it, you can't help it. This kind of voice will penetrate the soul, enter the subconscious, and eventually affect the instinct. No matter how firm the heart of Tao is, it will be gradually eroded and eventually retreat. For so many years, no one has been able to really touch the jade sword. The higher the realm of the people who come here, the greater the impact they will receive. On the contrary, the impact on those with a lower realm will be smaller accordingly. What is tested here is the heart of Tao, not the realm of cultivation. Of course, the higher the realm, the firmer the heart of Tao. If the heart of Tao is truly firm enough and reaches an indestructible level, the other shore realm can also go to the end.
Strange, why do I feel like I've seen this before?
Lin Moyu's thoughts flew, and he suddenly realized why it seemed familiar. That feeling is the feeling of the intertwined branches. The difference is that the intertwined branches affect oneself imperceptibly, and the influence of the intertwined branches is long-lasting and will eventually become a real instinct. The influence brought by the jade sword is only temporary. As long as you leave the range of the jade sword, you can recover after a certain period of time, and there will be no permanent impact. Moreover, the influence brought by the jade sword is more obvious, unlike the intertwined branches that are imperceptible. In terms of means, the intertwined branches are more terrifying. Knowing is one thing, but how to resist is the real problem. 2665 2665 ## chapter 2665. If you can do this, I will come back immediately. As Lin Moyu moved forward, he pondered how to resist the influence of the jade sword. This influence, though not as silent as the intertwined branches, was equally unbearable. Fortunately, Lin Moyu's Dao heart was very firm and was not affected for the time being. The wind failed to confuse him, and he approached the jade sword unwaveringly. The sword energy became denser, and the bewitching voice, strong enough to wipe out the Dao heart, grew louder. Gradually, Lin Moyu saw many practitioners sitting on the ground, enduring the sword energy. These practitioners' realms varied from heavenly venerables to supreme venerables, but most were below the supreme venerables and above the other shore. There were very few heavenly venerables and no Dao venerables. They sat here to hone their Dao hearts. If they could withstand the bewitching power brought by the sword energy, they could make their Dao hearts more firm. The area around the jade sword was not only a place to verify one's Dao heart, but also a good place to hone one's heart. Not only the jade sword but also the 72 origin swords had similar effects. Lin Moyu had to sigh that the senior who refined the 72 origin swords was truly a god. The Dao heart is crucial for a cultivator. If one can make the Dao heart firm and not be invaded by any external objects, the future of that person will be limitless. Lin Moyu determined his Dao heart and continued to move forward. He had confidence in his Dao heart, and even if he did not find a way to resist, he believed he could reach the end. Getting closer and closer to the jade sword. 50 kilometers, 45 kilometers, 40 kilometers. He saw more cultivators, all honing their Dao hearts. The closer to the jade sword, the higher the realm of the cultivator. The number of supremes decreased, the number of heavenly venerables increased, and occasionally Dao venerables appeared. What was being competed here was not cultivation but the Dao heart. The firmer the Dao heart, the farther one could go. Lin Moyu saw someone stand up and walk forward like him, then after walking a few hundred meters, sit down again to focus their mind. Some people suddenly stood up and left without looking back. Their Dao heart had been affected, so they chose to turn back. Dao heart is not easy to hone. It is much more difficult to improve the Dao heart than to improve the realm of cultivation. Dao heart is invisible and intangible, just a thought, which may be very firm or very weak. Some people seem weak, but their Dao heart is very firm. Some people seem strong, but their Dao heart is very fragile. There are too many things that can affect the Dao heart, and many people have weaknesses and will always be affected. When there were still 30 kilometers left to the jade sword, Lin Moyu suddenly heard a familiar voice in his ears.
Husband, come back. Husband, we are waiting for you at home. Husband, look back quickly, we are behind you.
His wife's voice was so familiar and so touching. Lin Moyu instinctively wanted to turn back. His neck moved slightly, then stopped abruptly. He couldn't look back. If he did, he would fail. Lin Moyu was somewhat shocked. He was actually affected by an illusion. What he just heard was an illusion. The power of the jade sword caught the most vulnerable part of his heart, causing an illusion and then affecting him. At 30 kilometers away, the power that eroded the heart of Dao was already very strong. The people who came here were very strange. There were only a few Dao Zun around, still sitting here, using the power of the jade sword to hone their hearts of Dao. To obtain the origin sword energy, one needs to continue to move forward until within 20 kilometers. If Zhao Dongsheng had not been killed before, Lin Moyu would need to walk within 1,000 kilometers to obtain a strong enough origin sword energy. Everything is not as easy as imagined.
Purification!
Lin Moyu shouted in his soul, and the 10-color dragon soul crystal moved in response, spewing dragon breath to purify the soul. The soul was shrouded and protected by the dragon breath, becoming difficult to invade by external evil. The world tree also dropped countless branches to wrap the soul and protect it. Lin Moyu didn't know if it was useful to do this. It was probably not very useful, but it was better than doing nothing, and it was better to comfort himself.
Keep going. It's far from time to give up.
Lin Moyu's eyes became firm, staring at the jade sword, and he moved forward again. No matter how wild the sword energy was, Lin Moyu took every step firmly, carrying his own goal and moving forward. He caught up with one Dao master after another. Some Dao masters looked surprised and watched Lin Moyu surpass them and disappear in the wind.
Husband, don't you want us anymore? Husband, why don't you turn around and look at us? Moyu, come back, your master is here. Brother, go back quickly, don't go any further, there is danger ahead.
Voices rang out one after another, including his wife, Meng Anwen, Bai Yuan, and Lin Mohan. But no matter who it was, Lin Moyu ignored them. The voices became more numerous and more complicated, and the power of the jade sword kept stirring the softest part of his heart, bringing one irresistible voice after another. Lin Moyu did not look back. He just kept moving forward, and the initial illusion was like nothing. Finally, he walked another 10 kilometers, and at this time there were only 20 kilometers left to the jade sword. An invisible force fell, and Lin Moyu sensed this change with his extremely keen spiritual perception. This power came from the jade sword, and he seemed to have been recognized by the jade sword. This power gathered in his body, gradually took shape, and turned into the shape of a sword. This sword seemed to be there and not there, as if it had substance and seemed invisible between illusion and reality. The sword was not a real sword but actually sword energy.
Origin sword energy.
Lin Moyu seemed to have some realization in his heart. This was the reward given by the jade sword. Anyone who enters the 20-kilometer area will get the origin sword chi. As the distance gets closer, the origin sword chi will become stronger and stronger. The current origin sword chi was still very weak, even if it was used to break through the realm. If one could walk to 10 kilometers, the origin sword chi obtained would be enough to kill an ordinary Dao Zun. However, generally, no one uses the origin sword chi to kill the enemy. It is better to use it for cultivation. Lin Moyu continued to move forward, and the pressure on his Dao heart became greater and greater. There seemed to be a voice in his subconscious mind, constantly telling him to go back. His mind was in a mess, and there were constant thoughts of giving up. The hallucinations in his ears continued as well and became more intense. In the hallucination, his wife had already cried, sobbing one by one. It was as if he had become a sinner, a scumbag. Lin Moyu suddenly looked up, looked at the jade sword, and said loudly,
The old man in the green robe in my memory, the predecessor who gave me Zushui, you have the ability to conjure them all. If you can do it, I will turn back immediately.
Lin Moyu's voice resounded through the world, and several Taoist masters nearby looked at him in surprise. There was a trace of pity in their eyes. In their minds, Lin Moyu seemed to have gone crazy. He actually spoke to the jade sword. If he was not crazy, what else could he be? As Lin Moyu's voice fell, the voices of his relatives and friends disappeared at the same time. Then Lin Moyu heard another voice.
My friend, give up.
The voice was exactly the same as the voice of the old man in the green robe in his memory. Lin Moyu knew without looking that the jade sword had really transformed into the old man in the green robe. He couldn't help but smile.
Interesting.
2666, 2666. ## chapter 2666. The Scared Jade Sword. The existence of the old man in the green robe is extremely mysterious, unspeakable, and unthinkable. An entity of his level seems to know everything and can sense everything in the world with just one thought. If someone thinks of him or mentions his name, he will sense it. Lin Moyu discovered that the jade sword has some instinctive consciousness and guessed that the sword had given birth to a weapon spirit. Such a powerful jade sword, towering between heaven and earth for countless years, would naturally give rise to a weapon spirit. However, it must act according to certain rules. Perhaps there are some restrictions, and the wisdom of the weapon spirit is not very advanced. So Lin Moyu used the rules to deceive it. He knew that the jade sword could spy on some of his scattered memories. While speaking, Lin Moyu deliberately thought about the memory of the old man in the green robe, making the memory more vivid and specific. The jade sword was fooled, and the phantom of the old man in the green robe appeared between heaven and earth, simulating the voice and tone of the old man in the green robe, talking to him. This unthinkable and unspeakable existence, being imitated by someone, would inevitably be sensed. Lin Moyu really wanted to know how the old man in the green robe would react, whether he was as powerful as others said, unimaginable and unknowable. Lin Moyu ignored the jade sword and continued to walk forward, but his pace slowed down, as if he was slightly affected. The jade sword seemed to find this useful, so it simulated the image of the old man in the green robe more concretely. It obtained more information about the old man from Lin Moyu's memory, and Lin Moyu was not polite and controlled his own memory. If the jade sword wanted it, he would give it, but it would never get the most important parts. The illusion of the old man in the green robe became more and more concrete, and the power of the jade sword was constantly increasing. The mysterious and powerful power of the Tao was constantly eroding Lin Moyu's Tao heart. Lin Moyu's determination was getting weaker and weaker, and the idea of wanting to retreat was growing stronger and stronger. But he still persisted, believing that his judgment was not wrong.
Old man, if you don't come soon, I will scold you.
Lin Moyu was angry in his heart. If the old man in the green robe didn't have such great ability, then his challenge this time would end in failure. It would be more difficult next time, and it would be almost impossible to succeed. Lin Moyu tried to strengthen his will and continued to move closer to the jade sword. 15 kilometers, 13 kilometers, his speed gradually decreased and became slower and slower. He knew that he was constantly approaching his limit, getting closer and closer to it.
Maybe, when I become a Taoist master, I can succeed in the challenge. Now I am still a Tianzuan, and I am still a little short.
Inexplicably, Lin Moyu had thoughts that he shouldn't have in his heart. These thoughts kept growing and turned into a force that made him want to give up. He knew that he shouldn't have such thoughts, but he couldn't stop them. That feeling of powerlessness made Lin Moyu helpless. There were no Taoist masters around him. At this moment, he had surpassed all Taoist masters and walked to the front. The hallucinations in his ears became clearer and clearer. Lin Moyu could feel without looking back that the mysterious old man in the green robe was right behind him, pulling him with his voice. Finally, he was only 10 kilometers away from the jade sword, a mere 10,000 meters. His Tao heart finally reached its limit. Just when he was about to give up, a terrifying force fell from the sky. The jade sword roared and vibrated continuously, and countless cracks appeared on the ground, spreading over thousands of miles in an instant. The entire jade sword city was trembling, and countless buildings collapsed. With the jade sword as the center within a radius of thousands of miles, except for Lin Moyu, no matter who it was, no matter how skilled they were, they lost all senses at this moment. Everyone could not hear, see, touch, or stand, and they lay on the ground in an extremely embarrassed manner, unable to move. This force overturned the world, and all the avenues were in complete chaos at this moment. The jade sword was buzzing, and large cracks appeared on the sword body, as if it would collapse at any time. Lin Moyu looked at the crumbling jade sword and smiled bitterly.
Is it necessary to make such a big fuss? This jade sword has stood for countless years. It's not good to be destroyed like this.
The old man in the green robe snorted with disdain.
Just as you wish.
As he spoke, the figure of the old man in the green robe disappeared, and the world returned to normal. The whole process lasted only more than 10 seconds, but it felt like several years. No one knew what happened or why it happened, except Lin Moyu. The power that wiped out the heart of Tao retreated like a tide after the arrival of the old man in the green robe. The jade sword was trembling constantly at this moment, as if it was afraid and trembling. The cracks on the sword were recovering, and when Lin Moyu looked at it, it trembled even more. It seemed to be very afraid of Lin Moyu and never dared to release a force to test him again. Lin Moyu smiled.
Don't worry, he won't really destroy you.
As he spoke, he continued to walk towards the jade sword. The last 10 kilometers were the smoothest for Lin Moyu. No trace of sword energy fell on his body, and there was no power to wipe out his heart. As he approached, the origin sword energy in his body became stronger and stronger, and the small sword condensed by the origin sword energy was already substantial. This small sword was very magical. It could break through the bottleneck of cultivation and could also be released to kill enemies. However, Lin Moyu knew at this moment that the most important thing was not the origin sword energy, but to get the recognition of the jade sword. No one has ever really owned the 72 origin swords. No one knows whether the legend is true. Lin Moyu wanted to try to be the first person to eat crabs. What if the legend is true? There is no smoke without fire, right? Lin Moyu walked the last 10 kilometers smoothly and came to the side of the jade sword. Standing under the jade sword, looking up at the top of the jade sword, he reached out and gently pressed on the jade sword.
There should be only a handful of people who can look up at the jade sword from this angle.
Then he patted the jade sword lightly.
Am I right?
Lin Moyu knew that the jade sword would not dare to do anything to him, thanks to the remaining power of the old man in the green robe. The jade sword was scared to death just now. The jade sword trembled, and an illusory sword appeared in front of Lin Moyu. The sword was as beautiful as jade. Lin Moyu knew that this was the spirit of the jade sword. The jade sword spirit appeared in front of Lin Moyu and responded cautiously.
Since ancient times, there have been 3, and you are the 4th.
It seems that people in the world cannot be underestimated. I didn't expect that 3 people have come here. Lin Moyu has deeply experienced the horror of the jade sword. It is not easy to come here. Although his current Tao heart is firm, it is still a little short. The Tao heart will become stronger with the realm. Maybe in the future, when he becomes a Taoist master, he can come here with his own ability. Lin Moyu asked.
What realm were those 3 people?
The jade sword said.
2 were Taoist masters in the 8th realm, and 1 was a Taoist master in the 9th realm.
Such strong men, compared with them, Lin Moyu felt that he was not bad. Lin Moyu said.
So they didn't get the 72 swords of origin?
The jade sword spirit said.
No, to get the 72 swords, you must be recognized by all of them.
Lin Moyu continued to ask.
How can I get you?
The jade sword spirit said.
Each sword is different. The Tao heart that I tested with Tao's sword, and I recognized it, which is equivalent to waiting for Tao's sword's recognition. As for the other swords, you need to test them yourself.
Turns out that there is this requirement. The requirements for each sword are different, which is really difficult. The 72 swords of origin are distributed across 4 continents. If you want to get their recognition, you must first travel to the 4 continents. 2667 2667. ## chapter 2667. My future path. Lin Moyu used a clever method to gain the approval of the jade sword. In his dantian, the original sword energy formed a small emerald green sword. On both sides of the hilt, 2 words were engraved. 1 for
Jade
and 1 for
Tao.
This sword symbolized the dual approval of the jade sword and the Tao sword and was called the Jade Tao sword. However, after gaining this approval, Lin Moyu realized there were both advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that the Jade Tao sword could constantly temper the Tao heart, subtly making it stronger, the will more determined, and resistant to external evils. The disadvantage was that the Jade Tao sword lost its 2 functions of breaking through cultivation bottlenecks and killing enemies. Tempering the Tao heart was the real function of the Jade Tao sword. Breaking through bottlenecks and killing enemies were not its main abilities. The Jade Sword Spirit seemed to sense Lin Moyu's mood.
You don't have to feel sorry. Using the origin sword chi to break through bottlenecks is not a good thing. Real cultivation requires being down to earth and relying on one's own strength to move forward. Any behavior that relies on external forces will eventually become a hindrance and impede your progress.
Lin Moyu smiled and asked,
Who told you this truth?
The Jade Sword Spirit replied,
It was the person who refined us.
Lin Moyu detected something unusual in its words.
Isn't the person who refined you your master?
The Jade Sword Spirit said,
No, it just refined us and placed us here to suppress the world.
Lin Moyu was slightly stunned.
Suppress the world?
The Jade Sword Spirit explained,
It seems that the origin continent lost something, and we are a substitute for that thing.
Something was lost, and the 72 origin swords were just a substitute for that thing. Lin Moyu felt as if he had stumbled upon an incredible secret. Then he asked the most important question.
If someone gets all of you, can they become the master of the origin continent?
The Jade Sword Spirit said,
I don't know. That person didn't tell us.
Even the Jade Sword Spirit didn't know, making it clear that the legend couldn't be taken seriously. However, over the years, no one had ever been recognized by all 72 swords, so it was still hard to say whether the legend was true or not. Lin Moyu said,
I have a few more questions. Please ask.
The Jade Sword Spirit responded politely. It seemed that the appearance of the old man in the green robe had really scared it. Even now, the cracks on the sword had not completely disappeared. Lin Moyu asked,
What is the power of the avenue you use?
The Jade Sword Spirit said,
I don't know either. Our power comes from the person who refined us, but we only know how to use it and don't know the source.
After chatting for a while, Lin Moyu found that the Jade Sword Spirit didn't know much. It had been here for countless years and couldn't communicate with too many people due to restrictions. All the information it knew came partly from the person who refined it.
Then do you know who the person who refined you is? What realm is he in?
The Jade Sword Spirit gently vibrated the sword body.
It calls itself the Supreme Tao Lord, but it is not clear what realm it is in. But a strong man in the 9th realm of Dao Zun is like an ant in front of him.
As it spoke, the Jade Sword Spirit projected an ancient picture. A person appeared in the picture, and Lin Moyu felt his greatness at a glance. He stood there like a road, lingering in time and space, spanning ancient and modern times. In front of him was the Jade Sword, standing tall and upright. The Jade Sword in the picture was obviously just formed and far from having that vast aura. At this time, someone rushed over, and it was a Dao Zun. The Dao Zun carried the Great Dao, and the Dao pattern was revealed in the sky and earth, making him extremely powerful. The Dao Zun rushed straight to the Jade Sword, as if he wanted to seize it. As a result, the powerful Dao Zun was wiped out and turned into nothingness with a casual finger from that person. The Jade Sword Spirit explained,
This is the picture I recorded when I was just born. That Dao Zun was in the 9th realm.
A Dao Zun in the 9th realm was destroyed by a single finger from the Supreme Dao Lord, showing how powerful he was. Lin Moyu thought of those beings he had seen before, standing on the avenue outside the stars. But he couldn't compare who was more powerful between those people and the Supreme Dao Lord. Lin Moyu asked,
Who do you think is more powerful, the old man in the green robe or the Supreme Dao Lord who refined you?
The Jade Sword Spirit trembled and then vibrated.
I don't know. Anyway, it's easy for both of them to destroy me.
The level difference was too big, and the Jade Sword Spirit couldn't compare. However, Lin Moyu was very clear that the Jade Sword was stronger than the first Zunjo consciousness but had not reached the realm above Dao Zun. For this question, Lin Moyu could only explore it himself in the future. The origin continent was not as simple as he thought. The real strong ones were actually gone. In the origin continent, the strongest person known at present was in the 9th realm of Dao Zun. It was hard to say whether there were Dao Zun in the 9 7-star forces. At least not on the surface. Whether there were Dao Zun in secret, only they themselves knew. Lin Moyu thought there should be, otherwise a Dao Zun strongman outside could easily destroy them. It was not as easy as one might think to become the top force in the origin continent. Lin Moyu bid farewell to the Jade Sword Spirit and left the area with the Jade Dao Sword. This time he gained a lot. The Jade Dao sword continued to emit magical power, tempering the Dao heart in a way that Lin Moyu could not understand.
The body, soul, luck, and Dao heart, none of them can be missing. Any one of them will become a shackle. If you want to become a real top power, every one of them must be strong. This is the foundation. Only when the foundation is solid can you move forward step by step.
On the way back, Lin Moyu once again saw those practitioners who were struggling to move forward and temper their Dao hearts. Dao Zun, Tian Zun, Ji Zun. Lin Moyu found that each of them had flaws in their foundation. Either they lacked luck, or they lacked a Dao heart, or their physical bodies were not strong enough. In short, none of them could be perfect, and it would be difficult for them to reach a higher level when the time came.
The 10-colored dragon soul crystal tempers the soul, the sun of the moon strengthens luck, and the jade Dao sword tempers the Dao heart. Now all that's missing is the physical body. How to temper the physical body? It seems that I need to find a corresponding method.
Lin Moyu saw his future path clearly and knew how to proceed. After returning to Yujin City, Lin Moyu suddenly frowned.
What happened? Is the Dao sect here?
At this moment, Yujin City was in chaos. 7 of the 10 ice towers had collapsed. The highest 10,000-meter ice tower in the center had also collapsed. In Yujin City, a large number of houses had collapsed, and 1/3 of the city wall had fallen. One formation after another had collapsed, and a large number of people and horses from the Hanshui Holy Land were maintaining order. Lin Moyu's heart tightened, and he immediately rushed to his yard. Xiaoye and Xiaowu were still in the yard. He hoped nothing had happened to them, but with Xiaosen there shouldn't be any trouble. He was relieved when he returned to the yard. His yard was not affected at all, and Xiaoye and Xiaowu were safe and sound. The 2 carefree girls were still playing. When Lin Moyu came back, Xiaolu just called out and then continued playing. Xiaowu played her heartless role to the fullest. 2668 2668 ## chapter 2668. I'll give you something and ask you something. Jade Sword City was in chaos. After some inquiries, Lin Moyu finally understood what had happened. A terrible force had suddenly descended, causing the entire Jade Sword City to collapse. At that time, countless people lay on the ground, unable to move, and all 5 senses disappeared. Lin Moyu already knew what had happened, but he could never have imagined that the old man in the green robe would make such a big fuss. This kind of existence is truly powerful and terrifying. Just a breath of energy descended, and it turned the world upside down. If the real body had descended, would the origin continent have collapsed? As strong as the jade sword was, it could only tremble there, scared to death. Lin Moyu thought of his origin shuttle again. He rushed to the Refining Master Association and found that it had also suffered some damage, but the main body was still intact. Entering it, he saw that the door of Lin Huguang's refining room was closed, and there were fluctuations from time to time. Obviously, he was refining with all his strength and was not affected. Lin Moyu then left with peace of mind. When passing by the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, he found that it was in a much worse state than the Grand Master of Weapon Refining, with almost half of it collapsed. The people in the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce were busy repairing it. The cultivators were very fast, and it would be completely restored in a few days. The busiest one among them was Lu Fengqing, who needed to rearrange the formation. In the crowd, Lin Moyu saw Lu Shui. She also saw Lin Moyu and walked over quickly with a smile on her face.
Hello, Mr. Lin.
Lin Moyu said.
You suffered some losses this time.
Lu Shui was a little helpless.
Fortunately, most of the property is still there, so the loss is not too big.
Faced with this natural disaster, Lu Shui said she had no solution and could only consider herself unlucky. With her realm, she could not understand what happened at all and could only regard it as a natural disaster. Even the heavenly venerable probably did not know what happened. Perhaps only some powerful Dao venerables could understand a little. Lin Moyu asked,
Has anything new happened between Hanshui Holy Land and the Dao sect?
Half a day had passed since Hanshui Holy Land announced the matter to the world. If the Tao sect had any reaction, it would have happened soon. The Lufeng Chamber of Commerce was very well informed, and the speed of transmission was far beyond imagination. Lin Moyu thought he might be able to get some information from Lu Shui. Lu Shui smiled and said,
Mr. Lin, are you going to buy news?
Lin Moyu nodded.
If there is news, it doesn't hurt to buy some.
Lu Shui smiled even more brightly.
It's a pity that there is no special news. The Tao sect did not react, as if it had suffered a loss.
Lin Moyu was a little surprised.
When did the Tao sect become so easy to talk to?
Lu Shui said.
In fact, I also feel strange. The Tao sect has always been domineering and vindictive. When would they be willing to suffer such a big loss?
Lin Moyu said.
If you have any news, tell me as soon as possible. I am very interested in this. As for how to find me, I believe you will have a way.
Lu Shui smiled.
Okay, I will register this matter. No matter where you are, as long as there is relevant news, we will contact you as soon as possible. But we take the initiative to sell the news, the price.
Lin Moyu said.
Don't worry about the price. As long as the news is useful, I can afford it.
Lu Shui smiled brightly.
Mr. Lin's financial resources, I naturally don't doubt it. Just telling you in advance to avoid any misunderstanding.
Lin Moyu nodded.
Give my regards to Senior Feng Qing for me. I'm leaving first. Sir, take care.
After saying goodbye to Lu Shui, Lin Moyu bought some snacks and pastries on the way back. The chaos in Yujin City had little impact on ordinary people. They still had to live their lives. The practitioners with lower realms were recruited to repair Yujin City. Of course, they would not work in vain and would be rewarded accordingly. The fact that the Tao sect did not respond at all made Lin Moyu a little surprised. Felt like something was unusual. In the Tao sect, Wang Xianzong had received the announcement from the Hanshui Holy Land. Once such an announcement is issued, it will spread quickly throughout the world. In less than half a day, the entire Nanzhou land will know about it. Wang Xianzong stood on the top of the main peak. The top of the main peak of the Tao sect is a forbidden area. Except for the sect master, ordinary elders are not allowed to enter. Wang Xianzong's face was gloomy, and 3 elderly men were sitting in front of him. He told the whole story and then waited quietly for the answer. Time was distorted around the 3 elders, and the time belonging to them was different from the time outside. Wang Xianzong knew that it would take some time for his words to reach their ears, so he was not in a hurry and waited quietly. After a while, the old man sitting on the right spoke. His mouth moved, but no sound came out. The sound was also affected by time, and it took a long time to come out.
It's not the right time yet. The ancestor is about to break through. After the ancestor breaks through, we will settle accounts with the Hanshui Holy Land. Be patient. As the leader of the sect, you must learn to be patient. Our goal is not the Hanshui Holy Land. It is just our stepping stone.
The voice was few, but it gave Wang Xianzong clear instructions. Wang Xianzong bowed slightly and then left. The Tao sect did not make any movement, as if it had suffered this loss. But those who know the Tao sect know that this matter will not end so easily. In the next few days, Lin Moyu did not go out of his yard. He waited for the repair of the Origin shuttle and the arrival of the large ship of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce. At that time, he would leave Nanzhou and go to Dongzhou, where disputes continued. In Lin Moyu's eyes, Dongzhou was more suitable for him than Nanzhou. He did not do nothing in the past 2 days. When the Sun Origin was in power, he took the initiative to activate the Jade Dao sword to temper his Dao heart. When the Taiyin Origin rose, he felt the Dao and cultivated with the help of the Taiyin Origin. Because of the Sun of Taiyin, Lin Moyu cultivated very quickly under the illumination of the Taiyin Origin, just like cultivating in the Origin spiritual vein. Various perceptions came one after another, and his understanding of the Tao became deeper and deeper. The Taiyin Origin is his Origin spiritual vein, and it is the largest Origin spiritual vein. Lin Moyu felt that if he continued like this, he would be able to break through to the middle-level Tianzuan in less than 3 to 5 years. This speed is already quite fast for Tianzuan. Other Tianzuan have to cultivate for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years to break through a realm. How long has it been since he became Tianzuan? Lin Moyu was already quite satisfied. For days passed peacefully, and when the moon was in the sky, a fragrance drifted from outside the courtyard. Gu Hanyu's graceful figure appeared outside the courtyard, pushed open the door, and walked in with lotus steps. Lin Moyu stopped practicing, looked at the jade girl with a smile.
Why are you here?
Gu Hanyu walked to the table and sat down.
Are you not welcome? How could it be? I'm just a little surprised, and there are some unexpected things.
Xiaowu called to Gu Hanyu obediently.
Hello, mistress. I haven't seen you for a few days. My biological mother seems to be more beautiful again.
Flattery is free, and Xiaowu had a sweet mouth. Xiaoye was much more honest.
Xiaoye greets the master's wife. The master's wife as well.
Gu Hanyu waved lightly, and a large number of snacks and toys suddenly appeared in the yard, forming a small mountain.
All of these are for you.
The two of them exclaimed in delight, their eyes glowing, and they kept saying thank you. Lin Moyu smiled.
If you come a few more times, these two girls will be bought by you.
Gu Hanyu said.
It depends on your performance.
Lin Moyu said.
Tell me what you are here for.
Gu Hanyu said.
I'm here to give you something and ask you something.
2669, 2669. Hashtag chapter 2669. How is Mr. Lin's luck? Hearing Gu Hanyu's words, Lin Moyu immediately became interested.
What good stuff do you have?
Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu with a smile.
Why don't you ask first? I want to ask you something.
Lin Moyu, thick-skinned as ever, replied,
People interests come first. Naturally, I have to ask what good stuff there is. This is instinct, and it is also my heart. I can't go against my heart.
Gu Hanyu was slightly startled by what Lin Moyu said.
I didn't expect you to be so thick-skinned.
Lin Moyu didn't care at all and continued while drinking tea.
Of course, you can also ask first. I don't mind.
Gu Hanyu took out a bright red silk scarf. The scarf exuded a strong origin breath, hiding a fiery heat. Lin Moyu was shocked.
Is this a magic weapon refined by the sun?
Gu Hanyu shook her head.
You think too much. It just contains some sun origin. It can't be regarded as a magic weapon refined by the sun origin.
Lin Moyu sighed.
Even if it only contains some of the sun's origin, it is extraordinary enough. What's the use of it?
Gu Hanyu said.
When the Taiyin is in the sky, it can temporarily cover your Taiyin talisman.
Lin Moyu immediately took the red silk scarf in his hand. The scarf was warm to the touch, and he could clearly feel the sun's origin contained inside. Lin Moyu exclaimed,
This is a good thing. With it, it will be much more convenient to move in the future.
Lin Moyu didn't want others to know that he was the son of Taiyin. When Taiyin was in power, his actions would be restricted. Unless he killed everyone who saw him, there would always be a time when everything would be exposed. At that time, many Taoist masters from various forces would come to find him. Once his identity was exposed, he would inevitably become the target of all factions. Now, with this silk scarf, it would be much more convenient. However, this red silk scarf is not suitable for his image. Gu Hanyu said,
Don't be happy too soon. The solar essence in it is limited. Once the solar essence is used up, it will be just an ordinary silk scarf.
Lin Moyu asked,
Is there no way to replenish it?
Gu Hanyu shook her head.
I don't know how to replenish it. You have to figure it out yourself. As for its appearance, I think it will be fun for you to wear it. Or wear it and show it to me.
She smiled, wanting to see what Lin Moyu looked like wearing a red scarf. Lin Moyu put the red scarf away without saying a word.
I'll wear it for you to see when I have a chance.
Gu Hanyu sighed.
You seem to be getting thinner.
Lin Moyu didn't respond.
Go ahead, what do you want to ask?
Gu Hanyu said,
What exactly happened to the natural disaster in Eugen City a few days ago? Don't say it has nothing to do with you. I have a feeling that it must be related to you.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Although I believe in my feelings, I know that since you said so, you must have your own reasons.
Gu Hanyu said.
I know you were near the Jade Sword when the natural disaster occurred. And the natural disaster broke out with the Jade Sword as the center, so it must be related to you.
Lin Moyu said.
Your reasoning is very sufficient. You are right. The natural disaster was indeed caused by me, but I was not the one who did it.
Gu Hanyu snorted lightly.
Of course I know it was not you. You can't do it with your ability.
After saying this, she suddenly corrected herself.
At least you can't do it now. But I can be sure that this natural disaster must be related to you.
A pair of bright and beautiful eyes stared straight at Lin Moyu, waiting for an answer. Lin Moyu drank a few sips of tea before slowly saying,
Do you remember the old man in the green robe riding a green bull that I told you about?
Gu Hanyu's eyes lit up.
You mean that one?
Looking at her expression, Lin Moyu already understood that Gu Hanyu must have known about the existence of the old man in the green robe. Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
It's that old guy. As for how I did it, don't ask me. I won't tell you even if you asked me. That's what happened anyway. It's not just Eugen City that was affected. Even the Jade Sword was scared to death.
Gu Hanyu was very smart. Although Lin Moyu didn't say it explicitly, he actually said a lot. From Lin Moyu's words, it could be inferred that even the Jade Sword couldn't stop the old man in the green robe. In fact, what descended at that time was just a trace of the old man in the green robe. In the information Gu Hanyu knew, the old man in the green robe was a legendary figure, far beyond her reach. She knew that the old man in the green robe was very strong, but she didn't expect him to be so strong that even the Jade Sword couldn't stop his aura. Lin Moyu said,
I have already told you what you asked. I hope my answer satisfies you.
Gu Hanyu chuckled.
What you said, if I am not satisfied, what can I do?
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
If you are not satisfied, I will ask him for you in person when I become stronger.
This made Gu Hanyu laugh. She stood up and said,
Okay, I have done my work. I wish you all the best in Dongno. I will leave first.
Lin Moyu also stood up.
Your husband is about to go to Dongno. Don't you show some appreciation?
Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu. Under the illumination of the origin of the moon, a layer of snow-like frost appeared on Gu Hanyu's face, which looked breathtakingly beautiful. Lin Moyu just looked at her and admired her beauty. After a few breaths, Gu Hanyu took a half-step forward, hugged Lin Moyu, and whispered in his ear,
Come back alive.
After saying that, she kissed Lin Moyu on the face, then left his embrace and turned away with a gust of fragrant wind. In the following days, Lin Moyu's life returned to peace again. 3 days later, Lin Moyu went to the Weapon Refining Master Association again. According to the agreement between him and Master Lin Huguang, today was the day to check the progress.
I hope it can be restored to the realm of the Supreme Tao. If not, it can only be regarded as fate.
After a few days, the building of the Weapon Refining Master Association had been repaired and regained its former bustle. Lin Moyu saw Master Lin Huguang standing in front of the door from a distance, seemingly waiting for someone.
Fixed?
Lin Moyu walked over with some doubts. Seeing Lin Moyu, Lin Huguang immediately showed excitement and waved to Lin Moyu.
Come on.
At this time, Lin Huguang was like a child who was about to get a toy. As a Taoist master, it was indeed a bit strange to show such an expression. Lin Moyu took 2 steps at a time and walked over.
Master Lin, has the origin shuttle been repaired?
Lin Huguang pulled Lin Moyu into the weapon refining room.
Only the last step remains, waiting for you to come.
In the weapon refining room, in addition to Lin Huguang, there were 3 young people, all of whom were Lin Huguang's disciples. Lin Huguang opened the formation of the weapon refining room, isolating the inside and the outside. He said to the 3 people solemnly,
Don't make any noise on the side. Watch closely. How much you can understand depends on you. I have taught you everything that should be taught. If you cannot learn, it only means that you are not suitable for refining weapons. Do you understand?
The three of them answered at the same time.
We understand.
After talking to the three disciples, he said to Lin Moyu,
Fellow Taoist Lin, the Origin Shuttle is now only one step away from being completely repaired. This last step is related to whether the Origin Shuttle can be restored to the Dao Zun realm. In advance, Lin would like to ask, how is fellow Taoist Lin's luck?
2,672,670. ## chapter 2670. It's time to set off. Lin Moyu said.
My luck is not bad. I don't know why Master Lin asked this.
Lin Huguang explained.
The Origin Shuttle comes from the Tiantian sect, which is different from ordinary magic weapons. Fellow Taoist Lin should know that the Tiantian sect emphasizes the power of faith. We can't get the power of faith now, so someone came up with a way to use their own luck instead of the power of faith. But luck is illusory, and ordinary Taoist masters cannot sense its strength. I can't do anything. I can only make a preliminary judgment based on good or bad luck. To be honest, my luck is average, so this last step relies on fellow Taoist Lin's luck.
Lin Moyu suddenly realized. The Tiantian sect is famous for using the power of faith, so everything about them is naturally related to the history of faith. It is reasonable that the power of faith is needed to repair the Origin Shuttle. Lin Moyu said.
If so, there is no need for this trouble. I have the power of faith.
Lin Huguang was stunned for a moment.
Fellow Taoist Lin, you said you have the power of faith?
Lin Moyu nodded and took out a few faith cards. These faith cards were made by him personally, and each card contained millions of units of faith power. There were a total of 10 faith cards, totaling tens of millions of units of faith power. Lin Huguang's eyes lit up, and he blurted out,
Faith cards.
Although he did not have the power of faith as a master refiner, he had seen many things. In the knowledge system of the refiner, you might not have it, but you must know it. He recognized that the cards in Lin Moyu's hand were faith cards.
I didn't expect that fellow Taoist Lin really has the power of faith. Then there is no problem.
Lin Moyu asked.
Are these enough?
Lin Huguang said.
I don't know if they are enough. I can only try first.
Lin Moyu said.
It doesn't matter. I still have a lot of faith cards. Tell me any time if you need them.
He had the entire world as a foundation, and the power of faith was as vast as the ocean. 10 faith cards were nothing, and he could refine a large number of faith cards in minutes. Be prepared for a rainy day. Whether it is enough or not, it will never go wrong to refine some first. The soul had already started to gather the power of faith and refine it into faith cards. In a blink of an eye, pieces of faith cards flew up in response, each containing millions of units of faith power. Lin Huguang held the shrunken Origin Shuttle in his palm, and the faith cards danced around the Origin Shuttle. One after another, the power of faith flowed out of the faith cards and drilled into the Origin Shuttle. At the same time, a purple flame rose from Lin Huguang's palm, burning the Origin Shuttle. In the flame, the power of faith and the Origin Shuttle merged into one. The last flaw of the Origin Shuttle was being repaired quickly, and at the same time, a strong and strange aura was growing. The Origin Shuttle, which was originally badly damaged, had now fully recovered. The addition of the power of faith was like igniting the deepest fire of the Origin Shuttle, making it shine. The aura of the Origin Shuttle was getting stronger and stronger, quickly surpassing the Heavenly Venerable Realm, and it was about to break through to the Tao Venerable Realm. Bangs rang out, and the faith cards broke one after another. Lin Huguang's face changed slightly.
The faith is not enough.
Lin Moyu was prepared, and with a wave of his hand, another 10 faith cards were thrown out. The faith cards completed the relay and continued to provide the power of faith for the Origin Shuttle. The aura of the Origin Shuttle was strengthened again, getting closer and closer to the Tao Venerable Realm, but there was always a line of difference, and it kept getting closer but could never reach it. Bang, bang, bang. The faith cards began to break again. This time, Without Lin Huguang's reminder, Lin Moyu had already thrown out the prepared faith cards. Lin Moyu didn't care how much faith power the Origin Shuttle needed. Anyway, he had as much as needed. The accumulation of his own faith power had long reached a terrifying number. Finally, after using hundreds of faith cards and a full 100 million units of faith power, the Origin Shuttle was finally full. It shone in Lin Huguang's palm, and then it exploded and grew larger. Lin Huguang's eyes condensed, and the flames in his palm rose, controlling the Origin Shuttle to keep it at the right size. His right hand turned into fingers, carving complex patterns on the Origin Shuttle. He didn't speak throughout the whole process. At this moment, he was fully focused and couldn't be distracted. The three disciples of Lin Huguang also stared at Lin Huguang's actions with their eyes wide open. This last action contained the essence of the weapon refiner. Lin Moyu didn't know how to refine weapons, so he couldn't quite understand what was going on, but he could feel that Lin Huguang was using his Dao power to make the final repairs to the formation inside the Origin Shuttle. To repair the Origin Shuttle, in addition to repairing the damaged shell and restoring the complete shell, the most important thing was to repair the formation. The shell was just the skin and the formation was the bones. The power of faith that had been integrated into it before was the blood, and none of the three could be missing. It lasted for half an hour, and the breath of the Origin Shuttle finally reached the real critical point. With a slight sound, a strong storm blew up in the refining room. The breath of the Dao Zun realm permeated the room, and the Origin Shuttle was restored to its new state, exuding a strange aura. This aura was different from the aura of ordinary magic weapons. It was fused with the breath of faith power and accompanied by the breath of the Dao. Lin Huguang admired the Origin Shuttle as if he was appreciating a work of art. After a moment, his eyes were blurred, and he kept muttering,
So that's it. I understand. It turns out that the magic weapon of the Dao Zun realm is like this.
At this moment, the aura of Lin Huguang was also rising. He realized the secret of refining the magic weapon of the Dao Zun realm. As long as he was familiar with it for a while, he would be able to break through to the 7th level and become a master refiner. Becoming a master refiner is the dream of all refiners. In fact, it is the same to become a master of formation and a master of talismans. Lin Moyu felt that he was not a qualified master of talismans, let alone a qualified master of formations. He did not regard becoming a master as a goal at all. He sighed in his heart and said to Lin Huguang,
Congratulations, Master Lin. I will call you Master Lin from now on.
At this time, his three disciples also said in unison,
Congratulations, Master. You are about to become a master.
Lin Huguang laughed and was in a very good mood.
Lin can become a master, and I have to thank fellow Taoist Lin. Lin has remembered this favor and will definitely repay it if there is a chance in the future.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
You are polite. I also want to thank Master Lin for repairing the Origin Shuttle for me.
The two of them were polite and chatted for a few more words before Lin Moyu left with the Origin Shuttle. Because the Origin Shuttle was integrated with Lin Moyu's power of faith, it had been refined when Lin Moyu got it and could be used at any time. On the way back, Lin Moyu passed by the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce and found that it had been repaired and there was a constant flow of people again. There were several people selling tickets at the door. The big ship would arrive in 2 days. If you missed this opportunity, you would have to wait for many years to go to Dongzhou. 2 days later, a big ship flew from afar and stopped in the sky 1,000 kilometers away from Yujin City. The ticket in Lin Moyu's hand shone, and a beam of light shot out, pointing directly at the big ship. For a while, many people rushed out of Yujin City and headed towards the big ship. Lin Moyu also said in a deep voice,
It's time to set off.
2671, 2671. ## chapter 2671. Fellow Taoist, please follow me. One person after another was running on the land. No one was allowed to fly within the 1,000-kilometer range of the Jade Sword. Otherwise, they would be attacked by it. Lin Moyu was an exception. He was recognized by the Jade Sword and could fly freely. However, the first bird to stick out gets shot, and he didn't want to attract attention, so he just walked among the crowd. Some attention can be paid, but some attention is unnecessary. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. As long as he could get on the ship, the large ship of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce would stop here for half a day, and then set off again after half a day to the next stop. The large ship of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce would stop at one stop after another, and would stop in front of dozens of large cities in Nanzhou along the way. The entire route almost crossed most of Nanzhou. Finally, it came to the northeast of Nanzhou, crossed the vast sea of boundaries, and finally entered Dongzhou. Lin Moyu saw the large ship from afar. The ship was very large, more than 100,000 meters long, and stopped in the air, like an aerial city, an absolute behemoth. Lin Moyu could feel that this ship itself was an extremely terrifying magic weapon. If it was fully launched, it would be no problem to exterminate a clan. In addition to the ship itself being powerful enough, the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce also arranged a number of Daozuan to follow the ship to ensure safety. When it was still 100 kilometers away from the ship, Lin Moyu saw a rune engraved on the hull. This rune was a very simple rune, and almost every practitioner could understand it. The meaning it represented was a simple
1.
To be precise, this rune represented the number of this ship, number 1. Lu Fengqing had said that there are a total of 4 large ships like this in the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, called hurricane warships, numbered from 1 to 4. The 4 large ships are used to travel back and forth between the 4 continents of the southeast, northwest, and northeast for trade. Lu Fengqing accidentally let it slip at the time that their Lu family started with these 4 hurricane warships and eventually developed into its current scale. The name of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce also came from this, and the
Win
in it refers to the hurricane warship. As he kept approaching the hurricane warship, Lin Moyu deeply felt a sense of desolation. This desolate breath went straight to the soul and impacted the mind. Lin Moyu knew very well that only after countless years of refinement could he hone this sense of desolation. Not everyone can sense the sense of desolation. Only people like him who have strong spiritual perception and a keen soul can feel it deeply.
This big ship has an extremely long history. It looks new on the surface, but it was actually renovated later. No matter how you do it, you can't cover up the years. Time speaks.
Lin Moyu stopped and did not get on the ship immediately. He stopped only 10,000 meters away from the hurricane warship, quietly feeling the desolate atmosphere, and admiring the hurricane warship at the same time.
This warship has experienced many terrible battles. There are countless scars on it. Even if it is repaired, it is difficult to erase the traces of the past. It has killed countless strong men, and many Dao Zun died in front of it. The Dao Zun's avenue is like a trophy, collected by it.
Lin Moyu felt thrilling in the vast atmosphere, as if he saw those magnificent battles. He stood for several hours, motionless. On the warship, a Dao Zun from Lufeng Chamber of Commerce stood at the bow. He looked at Lin Moyu and smiled slightly.
Interesting little guy.
Beside him, there was a young man with peak supreme cultivation. The young man was a little confused.
Uncle Wu, what is he doing?
Uncle Wu smiled.
He has a spiritual perception beyond ordinary people and can feel the past of the warship.
The young man was slightly surprised.
So powerful, could it be that he can see the past?
Uncle Wu shook his head.
It's not really seeing the past, just feeling the past. Time can speak, but it only speaks to those who can understand.
The young man said,
"Oh?"
and seemed not to understand. Uncle Wu smiled and said,
"It doesn't matter if you don't understand some things. After all, everyone's path is different. The one who can make it to the end is the winner." This little guy has a strong sense of spirituality. When he gets on the boat, you have a chance to get in touch with him more and see if you can make friends. If you want to grow smoothly in this world, friends are indispensable. If you can't become friends, then don't become enemies.
The young man was not stupid. He understood the meaning of Uncle Wu's words. Lin Moyu under the boat has a limitless future. Don't be an enemy of him. The young man immediately said,
Thank you, Uncle Wu, for your teachings. Feng Yuan understands.
Uncle Wu nodded with satisfaction.
After your sister comes out of seclusion, learn more from your sister. You can learn a lot.
Lu Fengyuan immediately nodded in response, looking very obedient. Lin Moyu stood for several hours, finally came to his senses, and took out the boat ticket. A beam of light shot out from the warship and fell on him, pulling him into the warship. As Lin Moyu approached, Uncle Wu narrowed his eyes slightly.
So young.
Lu Fengyuan asked.
Is he very young?
Uncle Wu nodded.
More than 2,000 years old.
Lu Fengyuan opened his mouth wide.
How is this possible?
A 2,000-year-old Tianzuan. How talented must this be? It is simply unimaginable. He considers himself a genius and has used up 3,000 years just to cultivate to the peak of the supreme. He has a good chance of becoming a Tianzuan within 5,000 years, which is already a very talented existence and is not inferior to any Tianjiao on the origin continent. On the origin continent, those who can become Tianzuan within 10,000 years are all geniuses. If you can achieve the status of a heavenly venerable within 5,000 years, you can be called a heavenly pride. But what is a heavenly venerable who is over 2,000 years old? A top heavenly pride? Lu Fengyuan really wanted to call him a monster. Lu Fengyuan murmured.
Is his talent stronger than that of my sister?
Uncle Wu said.
It's hard to say, at least it's similar, not too far behind. You see, there are always people better than you. There are too many geniuses in this world. You must not be complacent.
Lu Fengyuan also sighed, with a little helplessness.
Before I only thought that my sister was a 900-meter mountain, but now there is a bigger one. I am so miserable.
Uncle Wu laughed and ignored it. Lu Fengyuan has been used to smooth sailing since he was a child, and it's not bad to suffer a little setback occasionally. When Lin Moyu arrived on the boat, someone from the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce came to greet him immediately. At this time, Uncle Wu suddenly said,
You all should leave.
His words were orders, and the people from the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce immediately left. Uncle Wu came to Lin Moyu and personally entertained him. Lin Moyu saluted Uncle Wu.
Senior. My friend, please let me see your boat ticket.
Uncle Wu was very polite to Lin Moyu and had a very good attitude. In his mind, Lin Moyu would sooner or later become a Taoist master, and become in existence at the same level as himself or even surpass him. Lin Moyu handed the boat ticket to Uncle Wu, and Uncle Wu was surprised when he saw it. Lu Fengyuan on the side suddenly said,
It's actually the ticket for room number 3.
Uncle Wu nodded.
Yes, there is no problem with the ticket. It is indeed for room number 3. My friend, I want to ask, how much did you spend on this ticket?
Lin Moyu said,
10,000 third-level fine origin crystals.
Uncle Wu chuckled.
This old guy's price is fair. My friend, don't think it's expensive. The ticket for room number 3 is worth this price. You will know it later. Feng Yuan, you will lead the way. Remember to introduce the situation on the ship to my friend.
Lu Fengyuan immediately understood and stretched out his hand to invite.
Fellow Taoists, please follow me.
2672 2672. ## chapter 2672. Do you know who that person was just now? He traveled through a vast number of formations, most of which were very secretive. If it weren't for his strong spiritual perception, even a formation master would have difficulty discovering these formations. Lu Fengyuan led the way in front, walking more casually. These formations would not be easily triggered, so there was no need to be too careful. No space formations were used inside the warship. Lin Moyu guessed that it was because the internal formations were very dense, with formations within formations. Moreover, these formations were all weapon formations which required stable space support, so they could not accommodate space formations. In addition, the Hurricane warship was large enough and did not need any space formations to expand the space. The two had to pass through most of the warship to reach the front. The third-floor room was located near the bow. While Lu Fengyuan led the way, He also introduced the situation in the warship to Lin Moyu.
Battleship number 1 is 100,800 kilometers long and has 3 lower floors and 4 upper floors. The upper 4 floors are where all passengers can move around, and the first and second floors are where passengers live. There are 10,000 ordinary rooms, each accommodating 4 people. There are 1,000 superior rooms, each accommodating 2 people. There are 100 special rooms, each accommodating 1 person.
Lin Moyu smiled.
It seems that mine is a special room.
Along the way, they saw many rooms with more than 1 person living in them. According to Lu Fingyuan's introduction, if fully occupied, there would be more than 40,000 passengers on this hurricane warship. If we count that many people bought multiple tickets and used their own rule world to bring a large number of people to Dongzhou, at least 100,000 people would go from Nanzhou to Dongzhou this time. 100,000 people is not a lot, but it is not a small amount either. Given the vastness of Dongzhou, there are very few people in a field. Even in Nanzhou, there are more than 100,000 people in any small town. But most of the people in Nanzhou are ordinary people. Those who go to Dongzhou are all cultivators, not ordinary people, which is not a small number. Lu Fengyuan didn't know what Lin Moyu was thinking but followed Lin Moyu's words and said,
You are in room number 3. If I remember correctly, this ticket should have been in the hands of Elder Lu Fengqing. The rooms numbered before 10 are special rooms among special rooms, different from other special rooms.
Lin Moyu showed a little interest.
Please tell me in detail.
Lu Fengyuan said,
The first difference is the origin power. Each room has a formation that refines the origin power of the sun and moon and supplies it to the practitioners in the room. However, the effect of this formation is different. Specifically, the concentration of origin power in the special room is 10 times that of the advanced room, and the advanced room is 10 times that of the ordinary room. The top 10 special rooms are 10 times that of other special rooms. If the ordinary room is regarded as a first-level origin spiritual vein, then your room is at least a 4th-level origin spiritual vein. Your cultivation in it is equivalent to cultivating in a 4th-level origin spiritual vein, and the effect is excellent. From now on, until Dongzhou, it will take about 100 days. This 100 days is enough to equal your usual decades of hard work.
Through Lu Fengyuan's introduction, Lin Moyu gradually understood the various special features of his room. In addition to the different concentrations of origin power, there are also some other preferential treatments. The 3rd floor of the warship is an area for practitioners to eat, drink, and have fun. It provides a variety of spiritual food and a large number of entertainment venues, all of which cost money. Passengers in the special rooms can get a 20% discount on any consumption here. The spiritual food provided by the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce is not ordinary spiritual food, which can't be eaten outside. Many spiritual foods have a very good auxiliary effect on cultivation. The only problem is that they are expensive. In addition, various entertainments are also very attractive. The Lufeng Chamber of Commerce travels across the 4 continents, providing many things that humans don't have here. Some unspeakable entertainment that can satisfy many special desires. The 4th floor of the warship is the trading area opened by the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, where you can buy various goods. It is also not an ordinary commodity. Many things that cannot be bought outside can be bought here. Many people also come on board for this purpose and buy things, and guests in special rooms can still buy here at a 20% discount. If there are suitable things, as long as you buy a few pieces, it is worth the ticket price. Calculated in this way, the price of my ticket is indeed not expensive, and Lu Fengqing did not cheat me. As for the lower 3 floors, it is the area of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, and passengers cannot enter. Under Lu Fengyuan's introduction, Lin Moyu came to the door of room 3. The room was shrouded by a formation, and the ticket was the key. Lu Fengyuan finally whispered mysteriously,
Fellow Taoist Lin, you can go to the 3rd floor when you have time. There are some areas inside that are very interesting. At least they cannot be seen in the South Continent.
Lin Moyu showed a hint of interest.
Thank you, fellow Taoist Fengyuan. I will definitely go and see it when I have time.
Lu Fengyuan smiled.
Then I won't disturb fellow Taoist Lin's rest. Call me anytime if you have anything.
Lin Moyu opened the formation and entered his room. The room was not too big, only 10 meters long and wide. The room was filled with mist, and these airs were all the origin power. Lin Moyu took a breath and absorbed a lot of the origin power, muttering to himself,
The origin power is indeed rich.
The origin power he absorbed was quickly replenished, and the formation on the top of the room continued to operate, spewing out the origin power continuously. The sun's origin was extremely hot, and after the formation transformation it became gentle, which was not much different from the ordinary origin power. However, Lin Moyu could still feel the difference, as there was still some hot air inside.
This formation is extraordinary, as it can refine the origin of the sun.
Lin Moyu studied the formation on the roof and found that this formation was actually only responsible for sending the origin power to the room, and it was not the one that truly refined the origin of the sun. Lin Moyu had a guess in his mind. He felt that the hurricane warship was not actually made by the ancestors of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce. The ancestors of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce should have established the huge Lufeng Chamber of Commerce after acquiring 4 hurricane warships. He carefully thought about Lu Fengyuan's words, and he got a lot of information from Lu Fengyuan's words. On this hurricane warship, there is no need to worry about safety issues, and he can use the various resources on this warship to greatly increase the speed of cultivation. At this time, he was not far from the middle-level Tianzuan, and perhaps he could be promoted when he arrived in Dongzhou. After docking for an hour, the hurricane ship slowly started and then began to accelerate towards the next stop. Its speed kept increasing, getting faster and faster, and the scenery on the earth was quickly left behind. On the balcony of Lin Moyu's room, looking at the scenery that was rapidly retreating through the formation, Yujin City had disappeared in the blink of an eye.
It's amazing that the flying speed can reach such a level without touching the laws of space.
After flying for a while, the unique source waterfall of the chaotic zone appeared in front. The hurricane warship rushed directly over, intending to cross the chaotic zone. The warship was glowing all over, and the formations lit up one after another, covering the entire warship. The chaotic zone had no effect on it at all. Uncle Wu saw Lu Fengyuan coming back and smiled.
Fengyuan, do you know who that person was just now?
2673 2673. ## chapter 2673. Perhaps the hurricane warship is an opportunity. Lu Fengyuan was slightly stunned.
I know his last name is Lin.
Uncle Wu laughed.
His name is Lin Moyu.
Lu Fengyuan's face suddenly changed, and he exclaimed,
He is Lin Moyu? The super genius my sister mentioned?
Uncle Wu laughed again.
I said, how can a 2,000-year-old Tianzuan be so easy to see? I checked the identity on his ticket, and it was indeed him.
Lu Fengyuan murmured.
So this is the person my sister likes.
Uncle Wu smiled even more brightly, half joking.
If your sister hears you saying this, you'll probably be beaten half to death.
Lu Fengyuan didn't care and waved his hand.
Anyway, she's not here. Uncle Wu, you won't betray me, right?
Uncle Wu shook his head.
That's hard to say. Let's see if you can buy me off.
Lu Fengyuan's face suddenly collapsed, looking bitter.
Uncle Wu, you can't do this to me. Who let my sister praise him to the sky? Of course, I thought my sister liked him.
Uncle Wu smiled and said,
Anyway, build a good relationship with him. It shouldn't be bad for you. I can feel that he has strong luck. Our ancestors have long said that we must make friends with people with strong luck and stay away from people with weak luck.
Lu Fengyuan nodded.
I understand. I know what to do.
Uncle Wu said,
Although your cultivation aptitude is not as good as Feng Yao's, when Feng Yao takes the helm of the Chamber of Commerce in the future, you can at least assist her. In this way, your position in the family can also be consolidated.
Lu Fengyuan nodded, indicating that he understood. Although the relationship between the members of the Lu family is good, the rules are strict. Even the direct descendants must abide by many things. This is also the way of survival of the Lu family, just like doing business. Fairness is important. Through the formation, Lin Moyu looked at the familiar chaotic area. He had stayed here for a while and had some magical experiences. Turning his head, he saw someone coming out from the balcony on the right. That was the passenger in room 4, a Taoist master. The Taoist master glanced at Lin Moyu with a hint of doubt in his eyes. It seemed he was wondering why a Tianzuan had a room number ahead of his own. Where did a Tianzuan get so many origin crystals to buy tickets for the special room? Then he was stunned on the spot. He saw that Lin Moyu was only more than 2,000 years old. A Tianzuan who was more than 2,000 years old was not something that ordinary people could reach. For such a genius, his eyes couldn't help but change, and he nodded slightly to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had guessed what was going on from the change in the other party's eyes.
It seems that I have to find a way to hide my age. Otherwise, this alone is a big flaw.
There are many geniuses in the origin continent, but there are only a handful of people who can reach the heavenly venerable at the age of more than 2,000. This alone can confirm his identity. The identity of the son of Taiyin is too sensitive. If one's own cultivation is insufficient, try not to expose it. After a short moment, the warship crossed the chaotic area, and then the speed began to increase again, flying towards a big city of the Tianjian sect. Across the formation, Lin Moyu faintly felt the power of the Taiyin origin, and he knew that the Taiyin origin was about to appear. Before the sun origin appeared, he returned to the room and did not go out. After a moment, the Taiyin talisman on the center of his eyebrows was revealed, and Lin Moyu knew that the Taiyin origin had appeared between heaven and earth. The power of the origin ejected from the formation also changed. The scorching heat in the power of the origin disappeared, and it was replaced by the coldness of the Taiyin origin. Lin Moyu was very interested in the formation in the warship that could refine the power of origin. If he could master this formation and set it up in his own forces in the future, he could use the sun origin and the moon origin to remind his forces of the power of origin. Even if the level of the origin spirit vein is not enough, they can be used to make up for it. The two origins of the sun and the moon are the two largest and most inexhaustible origins in the origin continent. Lin Moyu also knew that he could only think about it. It is impossible for Lufeng Chamber of Commerce to give him this formation. Whether he buys it or uses other methods, it is unlikely that he can even take a look at it. This formation is too magical and unheard of. It is better to practice than to think too much. Lin Moyu continuously absorbed the power of the origin and began to comprehend the law of the avenue. A large amount of the power of the origin entered the body, and through the origin, he comprehended the avenue, which was much more efficient than the outside world. Lin Moyu could clearly sense that his understanding of the avenue was constantly deepening and his realm was also improving. It is just because he has comprehended 3 avenues. In addition to the immortal avenue of his own life, the avenue of time and the avenue of space are extremely difficult to comprehend avenues. The difficulty of practicing any avenue is much greater than that of ordinary avenues, not to mention that he has to practice 3 at the same time. It is precisely because of this that the difficulty of his practice has increased significantly after he entered the Tianzuan realm. If there is no special opportunity, it may take thousands of years to improve a small realm. Compared with his previous practice speed, it is simply a world of difference. Lin Moyu felt that the Hurricane warship might be his chance. After practicing for a night, Lin Moyu left the room and went to the 3rd floor of the ship. The 3rd floor was very lively, with a large number of practitioners here. Listening to their conversation, Lin Moyu learned that the ship had docked twice last night to welcome 2 new groups of passengers. At this time, it was flying towards a new city. After passing through 5 more big cities, it would be able to leave the territory of the Tianjian sect in less than 2 days. At this time, many passengers were eating at the table. They were enjoying delicious spiritual food, which had a lot of origin power overflowing. Eating these spiritual foods would be of great benefit to their cultivation. At one of the tables, 4 people were sitting around. The 4 people were wearing exactly the same clothes, with a sword embroidered on their sleeves.
It's the people of the Tianjian sect.
Lin Moyu thought in his heart. When he looked around, he also saw people from the Hanshui Holy Land and people from the Wendao sect. These three forces are the top forces in the origin continent, and their momentum is higher than others. In addition, there are some people from other forces. Many people from various forces will go to Dongzhou. Dongzhou is a big piece of fat meat, and they all want to take a bite there. Suddenly Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes, turned his head quickly, and then walked towards the fourth floor.
Dao Zun Wei Xian, I didn't expect him to come too.
Lin Moyu just saw Wei Xian. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and turned around and left before Wei Xian noticed him. If Wei Xian had found him, it would have been trouble. Wei Xian would definitely ask him why he didn't go to find him. The token given to him at that time was completely blocked by himself. Wei Xian's meaning was very clear. Either become his person or be killed. In Lin Moyu's mind, people like Wei Xian can't be trusted. There was another person next to Wei Xian, a female Dao Zun, who also came from the Seven Colors layer. After Lin Moyu left, Wei Xian seemed to react and looked in the direction where Lin Moyu was originally. But after looking, he didn't find anything, thinking that he felt wrong.
Brother Wei, what's the problem?
The female Dao Zun next to Wei Xian asked. Wei Xian shook his head slightly.
Nothing. Sister Kai Yen, you took the initiative to apply to go to Donglo this time. Is it to find a disciple?
Elder Kai Yan Sai.
Yes, the disciple born with a jade soul was missed before. I used a magic weapon to calculate, and maybe I can find a suitable candidate in Donglo.
Wei Xian said.
Donglo is not peaceful. We must be more careful when we get there. It is common for Taoist masters to fall there.
Kai Yen didn't care but smiled.
Brother Wei, tell me again, is the little guy you met in the Boundary Sea really that talented? Can I accept him as a disciple?
Wei Xin Sai.
It's difficult.
2674 2674. ## chapter 2674. Spending money like water. A penny is a dime. It was truly a narrow road for enemies. Lin Moyu didn't expect to meet Wei Xian here. Lin Moyu still avoided this villain, especially in this place. If he dared to attack him outside, he could kill him to prevent future troubles.
I hope you are lucky.
Lin Moyu said softly and proceeded to the fourth floor of the warship. The layout of the fourth floor was somewhat similar to that of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, but there was no concept of senior members. On the warship, there were only ordinary rooms, senior rooms, and special rooms. Passengers in special rooms could get a 20% discount, passengers in senior rooms could get a 10% discount, and passengers in ordinary rooms had no discount. It's not that the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce divides guests into different levels, but this world has always been like this. There were not too many people on the fourth floor, perhaps because there were not many guests on the ship yet. However, the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce had not released all the goods at this moment. Only after all the passengers were on board and the warship entered the Boundary Sea would all the goods be released. The goods that could be bought at this moment were still limited. When Lin Moyu approached the counter, a young man from the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce came up to him. He was only in the godly realm, looking about 1,000 years old but appearing very young. The young man was very polite.
Hello, senior, what do you need?
Lin Moyu said.
I want a magic weapon that can cover my appearance and bone age.
The young man continued to ask.
I don't know what realm you are in.
Lin Moyu replied.
Heavenly realm. I'll find it for you right away, please wait.
The young man began to look for a suitable magic weapon. After a while, the young man projected the magic weapons he found in front of Lin Moyu through the formation.
There are only 3 magic weapons suitable for you at present. The first one, Xianguang Yi, a magic weapon in the Supreme Realm, can block detection below Dao Zun, and the price is 2,000 main-level origin crystals. The second one, the Dark Mask, a mid-level magic weapon in the Heavenly Realm, can block detection below Dao Zun, and the price is 2,000 third-level origin crystals. It has a shortcoming, that is, when wearing it, its own power will be suppressed by about 30%.
A mid-level magic weapon in the Tianzun realm sold at the same price as a magic weapon in the Supreme realm. Lin Moyu felt a little strange at first, but it was not strange after knowing its shortcomings. This magic weapon should be a defective product. Otherwise, it would not be sold at this price. Then his eyes moved to the third magic weapon. The young man also began to introduce the third magic weapon.
The third one, Twilight Stone, a high-level magic weapon of Tianzuan, can block the detection of those below the fourth realm of Daozuan, and the price is 5,000 third-level origin crystals. It also has a shortcoming, that is, the effect can only last for 6 hours each time it is used, and you need to wait for 6 hours before you can use it again.
Another defective magic weapon, otherwise it would not be priced so low. Lin Moyu asked,
Is there no flawless magic weapon?
The young man thought for a while.
There should be, but it has not been released yet. It may have to wait until all the passengers are gathered and the warship reaches the boundary sea before it can be released. Senior can come and have a look then.
Lin Moyu knew this rule.
Then I will buy the Twilight Stone first, and we will talk about the future later.
Although the Twilight Stone has defects, it is not unusable. Buy it first to deal with emergencies, and buy another one when a suitable one appears in the future. Now Lin Moyu is rich and powerful, and a mere 5,000 third-level origin crystals are nothing at all. Not to mention that they are only ordinary-level origin crystals. Even if they were boutique level, they would still be nothing. Lin Moyu took out 4 sixth-level origin crystals.
Is this enough?
The young man's eyes lit up and nodded immediately.
Enough, enough.
Passengers in the special room can get a 20% discount, so only 4,000 third-level origin crystals are needed. Lin Moyu used 4 sixth-level origin crystals to settle the bill, and their value was obviously more than 4,000 third-level origin crystals, so how could it not be enough? The young man collected the origin crystals and quickly sent the Twilight Stone through the formation. Lin Moyu left a soul mark on the Twilight Stone and completed the recognition of the master. As long as it is activated, the Twilight Stone can form a special protective force to prevent others from snooping on his information. Whether it is bone age, realm, or appearance, it will be obscured. No one below the fourth realm of Daozun can detect it. Lin Moyu suddenly felt a familiar breath coming from the stairs. Wei Xian actually came to the fourth floor. He immediately activated the Twilight Stone, and a special and invisible power enveloped his whole body. In the eyes of others, Lin Moyu was like a mysterious person shrouded in clouds and mist. No information could be seen, not even his appearance. Wei Xian passed by Lin Moyu and went to another counter. He didn't notice anything unusual during the process. There are too many people like Lin Moyu who hide their identities. It's not strange at all. When the young man saw Lin Moyu using the Twilight Stone, he thought he was testing the magic weapon. He didn't feel strange at all and continued to ask,
I wonder if the senior needs anything else?
Lin Moyu said,
Is there anything that can improve the efficiency of cultivation?
The young man immediately started looking and soon found a few items. They were all good things that could speed up cultivation. Lin Moyu waved his hand and bought them all. There is no shortcut to cultivation, but it is okay to get some small assistance. These things can only speed up the cultivation effect by 10% to 20% at most, and it depends on oneself in the end. Of course, there are also good things that can directly improve the realm, but Lin Moyu avoids them like snakes and scorpions. This kind of thing will only affect the foundation and must not be used. Lin Moyu bought a bunch of things and spent 20,000 third-level origin crystals, which is equivalent to 2 seventh-level origin crystals, a mere drop in the bucket. But to this young man, Lin Moyu is an absolute big customer, and his attitude became more and more polite. The way Lin Moyu buys things is simply like a big local tyrant. It's just missing 4 words written on his forehead. I have money, Lin Moyu asked.
Are there any spiritual materials above the Tianzun realm?
The young man showed some helplessness. Spiritual materials are too rare. Even the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce cannot just take them out casually. Lin Moyu actually just asked casually. It doesn't matter whether there are any or not. After a few days, when everyone is gathered and the warship arrives at the boundary sea, He will come back to take a look. After buying things, Lin Moyu left and returned to the third floor. On the third floor, he spent tens of thousands of origin crystals and bought a lot of spiritual food. These spiritual foods are also helpful for cultivation, but their greater role is to feed Xiaoye and Xiaowu. Spiritual food is the same as the treasures on the fourth floor. There are still many rare spiritual foods that have not been taken out. They will appear only after everyone is gathered. After returning to the room, Lin Moyu let Xiaoye and Xiaowu out and gave them the spiritual food. He then started to practice again, and with the help of the treasures he bought before, the speed of his practice was accelerated. As time went by, the hurricane warship passed through the territories of top forces such as the Tianling sect, Lifenjiu dancers, and Juchangshan Holy Land. It kept stopping in various cities. There were more and more people on the ship, and it was getting more and more lively. Lin Moyu stayed in the room these days and did not go out. Xiaoye and Xiaowu had no identity, so they could only stay in the room. Fortunately, they had enough toys to play with, and sometimes they would go back to the rule world to change their environment. Finally, 20 days after Lin Moyu boarded the ship, the warship officially left Nanzhou and entered the Boundary Sea. 2675 ## chapter 2675. Money can't buy me happiness. As soon as the warship entered the Boundary Sea, everyone received a notification from the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce. From this moment on, all the prepared goods, including spiritual food, magic weapons, materials, and other rare items would be available. However, there were also many restrictions on purchasing. The specific restrictions could be checked on the fourth floor. The hurricane warship had a structure of 4 floors on top and 3 on the bottom. Above the fourth floor was the roof. No one had ever been on the roof before. It was closed until this moment. Lin Moyu activated the Twilight Stone and went to the roof. There were many people on the roof, but it was large enough to accommodate them all. On the roof, one could see a layer of transparent light curtain covering the entire warship. Not far ahead, there were dark clouds belonging to the Boundary Sea. The sea water was rapidly getting deeper, and when it reached the range covered by the dark clouds, it appeared black. The sea water was naturally not black. It just looked black. Whether it was the origin of the sun or the origin of the moon, their light was greatly weakened after passing through the dark clouds. Lin Moyu noticed that many people were seeing the Boundary Sea for the first time, and they all exclaimed in admiration. Having come out of the Boundary Sea before, Lin Moyu felt indifferent about it. He knew that in 2 days, when they truly went deep into the Boundary Sea, if the flight route was suitable, they might be able to see the Boundary Sea worlds one by one. As the warship gradually went deeper into the Boundary Sea, the light curtain covering the outside of the warship began to deform, seemingly under a lot of pressure. The speed of the warship started to slow down, eventually matching that of an ordinary Tianzuan. At this speed, it would take a lot of time to cross the Boundary Sea. More and more people came to the fourth floor. After waiting for about half an hour, a light lit up from the top of the ship. Then, a large light curtain rose, displaying information about countless items. Everyone could view the content, which stated the level, function, price, and purchase conditions of the items. All the items that could appear here were top quality and extremely rare. Good items that met these 2 conditions would naturally not be easily sold by the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce. They set various conditions to increase the value of the items. Lin Moyu also looked at the information on the items, searching for what he needed. Divine Light would asterisk extremely rare natural Dao Zun realm item. After recognizing the master, wearing it will cover the whole body with divine light, preventing the prying of Dao Zun below the 7th realm. Starting price, 10,000 fine origin crystals. Selling requirements. Consumption exceeds 10,000 ordinary origin crystals. When there is no explanation, the price is calculated based on 3rd-level origin crystals, divided into fine and ordinary. 10,000 3rd-level fine origin crystals was only the starting price, not the final price. Obviously, this item would still need to be bid on with others. The condition for wanting to buy it was that you must have consumed more than 10,000 ordinary origin crystals on the ship before. Whether you ate a lot on the third floor or bought a lot on the fourth floor, it could be counted. If you had not consumed it before, you were not eligible to buy this item. But it didn't matter. You could consume it now and become eligible. Some people did this. They didn't spend much money before but would spend when they saw what they needed. Those who did this were obviously veterans, having taken the hurricane warship more than once and being quite familiar with the rules on the ship. Lin Moyu did not ask about the starting price, but someone else had already inquired. The person in charge of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce finally arrived, the fifth uncle who had taken everyone on board before, and Lu Fengyuan was still with him. The fifth uncle said loudly,
"Everyone, please be patient. I will explain the purchase rules. For all items, each round of sales lasts 12 hours. The items rotate every 12 hours, and each time they rotate, a new batch of items will be updated. If no one buys the items that appeared this time, whether they will appear again next time depends on luck. After the sale begins, all eligible guests can bid for the items they like. However, each guest has only one chance to bid for each item, so I hope you will cherish it. You can also rest assured that no matter who bids or how much, we will keep it confidential and it will never be known to others. But before the sale starts, there is a rule that needs to be made clear. If you bid and buy the goods but cannot redeem them in the end, then I'm sorry, we will also have corresponding penalties. So everyone, cherish the opportunity and don't bid maliciously."
Uncle Wu explained the rules in great detail, and anyone who was not a fool could understand them. Lin Moyu pondered the meaning behind the rules. The rules were actually very simple and straightforward. Lufeng Chamber of Commerce set the basic requirements and the reserve price, then let everyone bid by themselves. The key to the problem was that everyone had only one chance to bid, and they didn't know how much others bid. This led to a problem. If you really wanted an item, you had to bid as high as possible. If the price you bid was not high enough, it might end up in someone else's hands. And in the next round, there was a high probability that the same item would not appear again. The items here were extremely rare. Once you missed it, you didn't know when you would get another chance. Of course, some people wanted to pick up a bargain, so they offered the starting price. What if no one else wanted to buy it? In Lin Moyu's view, this way of buying was more of a psychological game, an invisible battle. If you were rich, you could give a high price directly. Anyway, money couldn't buy happiness. Lufeng Chamber of Commerce could make a lot of money from it. Lin Moyu thought to himself,
The person who thought of this method is really a genius. Compared to an auction, this format may not earn every penny, but it will not cause conflicts, and it may earn even more.
The sale finally began, and Lin Moyu went directly to the Divine Lightwood and used the consciousness communication array to bid. The starting price of the Divine Lightwood was 10,000 third-level fine origin crystals. Lin Moyu thought about it and directly bid 20,000. Originally, he wanted to bid 50,000, but thought that it would be too conspicuous. Even if he was rich, he couldn't do that. 20,000 was already high enough. After all, the role of the Divine Lightwood was only auxiliary and could not be used in combat. In the eyes of many people, its value was far less than other magic weapons of the same level. Then Lin Moyu looked at the other items one by one. Everything here was fine, but unfortunately, no spiritual materials were found. There were only a few auxiliary materials for cultivation. Lin Moyu casually offered a price. As for whether it succeeded or not, it was not of great concern. Calculating the time, the effect of the Twilight Stone was about to end, and the Taiyin origin was about to appear. Lin Moyu turned and left. In a room on the lower deck of the warship, Uncle Wu and Lu Fengyuan were staring at the screen projected by the formation, which showed the situation on the top of the ship. Lu Fengyuan suddenly said,
"He's gone."
At this time, Lu Fengyuan paid close attention to Lin Moyu's every move. Uncle Wu nodded.
"See what he bought."
He called up the items Lin Moyu bought and couldn't help laughing.
"The Divine Lightwood. It seems that he hates others snooping on him."
Lu Fengyuan saw Lin Moyu's bid.
"The Divine Lightwood is his."
Uncle Wu also nodded.
"Indeed, no one should bid higher than him."
Lin Moyu bid 20,000. while others who also wanted to buy the divine light would bid less than 15,000. A huge difference. 2,676, 2,676. Hashtag chapter 2676. Lin Moyu has a high-level origin spiritual vein. Lin Moyu returned to his room and waited quietly. He was confident that no one would bid higher than him for the divine light wood. It wasn't particularly useful to most people, and its value wouldn't be too high unless someone went crazy. Sure enough, not long after the first round of sales, someone delivered the goods to his door. It was just when the power of Taiyin was in effect, and the Taiyin talisman shone brightly at the center of Lin Moyu's eyebrows. He took out the red scarf and put it on. The scarf flashed a hint of burning, and the Taiyin talisman was quickly covered. After using the red scarf, Lin Moyu exclaimed softly. Once the scarf took effect, it disappeared along with the Taiyin talisman. He could sense its existence but could not see it.
This is good. It saves the embarrassment. Otherwise, it would be a bit weird for a grown man to wear a red scarf. I guess, hon, you didn't expect that the red scarf could also hide the effect of the body. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked me to wear it.
Lin Moyu opened the door and saw that the deliverman was Lu Fengyuan. He couldn't help laughing.
Why did Lu Daoyu deliver the goods in person?
Lu Fengyuan smiled.
Of course, I came for Lin Daoyu. Fengyuan won't deliver other people's goods.
He was straightforward and made it clear that he was giving Lin Moyu face. Lin Moyu welcomed Lu Fengyuan into the room.
I also happen to have something to ask Lu Daoyu.
Lu Fengyuan's eyes showed a hint of joy.
Lin Daoyu, please tell me. As long as Fengyuan can help, I will not refuse.
He wanted to get closer to Lin Moyu, and now that Lin Moyu had something to ask, it was naturally the best thing. Lin Moyu said,
I want to buy spiritual materials, not limited to the type, only the realm. Anything above the Tianzuan realm is fine, but Daozuan realm is the best.
After thinking for a moment, Lu Fengyuan said cautiously,
To be honest with you, although I am also a direct descendant of the Lu family, the rules in the Chamber of Commerce are very strict.
Lin Moyu knew what Lu Fengyuan meant as soon as he heard it and said with a smile,
No problem, I will go and see it myself.
Lu Fengyuan hurriedly explained,
You misunderstood. It's not that Fengyuan can't tell, but even I don't know if there are any spiritual materials in the goods this time.
Lin Moyu was speechless. He didn't expect that the rules of the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce would be so strict. Lu Fengyuan thought about it and said,
Why not do this? Every time the goods are renewed, if there are spiritual materials, Fengyuan will notify you as soon as possible. Anyway, every time the goods are renewed, it takes 12 hours, and it won't be too late for you to bid after you get the news.
Lu Fengyuan's method was already very good. This way, Lin Moyu wouldn't have to check every time, wouldn't waste time, and wouldn't worry about missing out. Lin Moyu said politely,
Will it be too much trouble for you, Lu Daoyu?
Lu Fengyuan shook his head.
Fellow Taoist Lin, you are too serious. It's just a small matter, why bother?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Then I, Lin, will be thick-skinned and trouble Lu Shofa.
After the two completed the transaction, they chatted for a few more words before Lu Fengyuan left. Lin Moyu could feel that Lu Fengyuan was a bit deliberate, as if he wanted to make friends with him. There is nothing wrong with being so deliberate. Everyone has their own goals. As long as they don't hurt others in the process of achieving their goals and treat others sincerely, there is nothing wrong with it. Just like Lu Fengyao, who also wanted to make friends with him at that time, but after several contacts, both of them treated each other sincerely and became good friends. After Lu Fengyuan left, Lin Moyu took off the red scarf and put it aside casually. The power of the sun's origin in the red scarf is limited. Once it is used up, it will lose its effect. It is better to use it sparingly. In just a short while, the solar essence inside had been reduced by almost 1/5. Lin Moyu calculated the time and found that the red scarf could still be used for about 4 hours in total. 4 hours is a short time, so it needs to be used carefully.
It seems that we need to find a way to replenish the solar essence for the red scarf.
If he can't find a suitable method, the solar essence will be exhausted. At least before Lin Moyu reaches the Daozuan realm, the red scarf is still very useful. Lin Moyu began to check the things he bought this time. 2 items were to assist in cultivation, both of which were spiritual food. After eating, they could temporarily enhance the speed of understanding the laws of the Tao. The effect varies from person to person and can be increased by up to 50%, which is much better than the spiritual food he bought before. For Lin Moyu, it is also a help. In addition to the 2 spiritual foods, the most important item was the divine lightwood. This time, Lin Moyu spent a total of 26,000 third-level fine origin crystals, of which 20,000 were spent on the divine lightwood. Lin Moyu studied the divine lightwood and tested its effect. Compared to the divine lightwood, the twilight stone immediately lost its luster, but at least it played a role once, so it was not a loss. Lu Fengyuan returned and handed the origin crystals paid by Lin Moyu to his 5th uncle. There were 2 7th-level and 6 6th-level origin crystals in total. The high-level origin crystals of the boutique grade exuded a powerful aura, which was completely different from ordinary origin crystals. Uncle Wu was a little surprised.
He actually paid with high-level origin crystals.
Lu Fengyuan's face was a little strange.
I was also surprised at the time, and I had a hard time holding it back. I also told him that it was not cost-effective to pay like this, but he obviously didn't care.
Uncle Wu said,
"It seems that he is really rich. I guess he had some adventure. It's rare to see such a wealthy Tianzuan."
He looked at Lu Fengyuan with a smile.
"Even if it's you, you don't have such a fortune."
Lu Fengyuan said,
"Don't talk about me. Even my sister couldn't be so rich when she was a Tianzuan. No, even my sister now can't be so rich. Do you know what else he wants to buy?"
Uncle Wu showed interest.
"From your appearance, it seems that what he wants to buy is very expensive."
Lu Fengyuan sighed.
"He wants to buy spiritual materials, and spiritual materials above the Tianzuan realm, preferably in the Daozuan realm."
Spiritual materials are very rare and extremely expensive, more expensive than magic weapons of the same realm. If spiritual materials are used in magic weapons, this magic weapon can almost 100% give birth to a weapon spirit, and the level of the magic weapon can also be raised by 1 or 2 levels. If spiritual materials of the corresponding level are added to a magic weapon of the Daozuan realm, this magic weapon is very likely to be promoted to the Daozuan realm of the 2nd or even the 3rd realm and can also give birth to a spirit. Magic weapons with weapon spirits and without weapon spirits are simply not the same. In addition to refining magic weapons, spiritual materials have some other functions, such as cultivating the origin of spiritual veins. They are extremely rare in themselves, and their very important role results in an extremely shocking price for spiritual materials. Even the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce only has a handful of spiritual materials traded each year. Uncle Wu's eyes sparkled slightly.
"It seems that he is much richer than we thought. I even suspect that he has obtained a high-level origin spiritual vein. Otherwise, how could there be so many high-level origin crystals?"
Lu Fengyuan said,
"Uncle Wu is joking. High-level origin spiritual veins are so rare. As long as high-level origin spiritual veins appear in Nanzhou, how could we not know about them?"
Uncle Wu laughed.
"What if his high-level origin spiritual veins are not obtained from Nanzhou? Don't forget where he comes from."
Lu Fengyuan was shocked and exclaimed,
"Boundary C!
2677 2677